space. The final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship. We haven't decided yet. It's a 3-episode mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before. Welcome to Star Trek Adventures, new game Who Dis, Star Trek Adventures. Thank you guys for showing up. And thank you to this lovely crew who is here, some of whom we're seeing for the first time on our network. We have, let's introduce the newest person first. Let's do Alicia Marie.
Hey, everybody.
Graciously offered to join us. Alicia Marie, thank you very much for joining us. Kate Stamas, the inimitable Kate Stamas, she's here. Matthew Capitacasa, some of us know him.
Why, hello. You might be hearing the sounds of an ice cream truck that just parked outside my window.
Oh, yeah. Aww. Well, no better time for a tall cone than during the last throes of a COVID outbreak. And of course, last but certainly not least, publisher and emeritus or active of Paizo Publishing, Erik Mona.
Hello! So great to be with you.
And on the ones and twos, as always, Grant Berger.
Reporting for duty, Captain.
There we go. That's
all right.
Nerd.
I'll show myself out. Goodbye.
So I'm a big Star Trek fan. I bought this outfit, as you can see. I kind of went all out. Actually, this even works. There we go. Yeah, see?
Oh, cool.
Whoa.
So
he's not wearing pants.
I'm not wearing pants. It did not come with pants, but otherwise it is fully functional. So yeah, tonight we're going to be playing Modiphius Publishing's Star Trek Adventures RPG. This is a beautiful game. We're going to be doing some giveaways too, that Modiphius has hooked us up with some incredible stuff. The artwork in this product is amazing. This is a really cool game. I think everybody will get a kick out of it. And I think Brennan's going to be showing some details in the chat about how to enter and what you can win. And we'll have more details next week, but we're very excited about that. But so before we start, I think we all are at kind of different levels of Trek knowledge. And I feel like I really like Trek, but in this group, I feel like I may be in the bottom percentile of actual knowledge about Star Trek, with one exception. But so I want to go around the horn and kind of get everybody's kind of experience with Trek. So let's start with Alicia Marie.
Hi, everybody.
Everyone knows you from your workouts, your fitness expertise, much like myself. And but you also have done some amazing cosplay. I saw some 7 of 9 cosplay that you did. It's incredible.
Thank you.
How much experience do you have with Star Trek? What's your history with Star Trek?
Okay, I actually started with Actually, my father started me with Star Trek. When I was younger, I used to think my dad wanted a boy because he brought me my mom would get me Barbie stuff, but my dad was all Star Wars and Star Trek. But Star Trek, The Next Generation was just the thing that he watched. So I would watch it with him. So I've been watching TNG, but when I was younger, I realized I didn't get it as well as I get it now. So we were talking earlier, rewatching it now is so much more fulfilling, and I appreciate the actors and the storylines so much more. And as far as just life in general, I go to all the Star Trek conventions, every single one of them, and I dress up every day. So I go to the convention with 4 pieces of luggage and 6 costumes, 2 changes a day. Yeah, wow. So I'm pretty much a crazy kid. Voyager is my favorite, but everything I love about Star Trek.
Voyager is your favorite? Okay, cool. All right. That's awesome. We were just saying, I never watched Voyager because I watched the first episode and I was just this isn't for me. I don't know. I don't know about this cast, and I just never went back to it. But this particular adventure takes place very close to the events of Star Trek Voyager. So I started watching the show a couple weeks ago, and it's great. I love that show.
Grows on you.
Yeah, so that's good to know. So let's say, Kate. What about Kate? What is your experience with Star Trek?
So I started watching it probably the last couple years. When I was younger, it wasn't something that would stick because of the way that they speak. I just couldn't hear what they were saying and register it. I still have trouble. I have to have the subtitles on and read. But yeah, I have most experience with the Next Generation, and honestly, it almost borders on movie length for me. Sometimes I have trouble with it.
Yes, for those who don't know, Kate famously has an aversion to film because they're too long.
They're too long.
She can watch TV shows, but she can't watch a movie.
But I really like Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we decided sort of collectively not to give her too much of a hard time about it anymore. So we're just going to let that go.
I'm impervious to people talking to me about it. I can't believe it. I've heard it all.
It's a really good way to get nerds agitated, as it turns out.
Yeah.
They get very excited when you just dismiss an entire art form. But I'm glad. So do you have a favorite? Do you have a? I'm not going to ask about the movies. Do you have a favorite character or storyline from Next Generation?
I really like Data. He's just so weird and analytical the way he speaks. I just really like him a lot. I also like the one-off characters in every episode. They're always so fun and different. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, what about Matthew? What about Mr. Capitakaza? Now, you and I have spent a lot of time, especially in green rooms when we go on tour. Well, a lot of these green rooms, they'll have VCRs and stuff, and almost all of them will have a Star Trek movie. So we'll always try to put that on and watch that. But we're always quoting Star Trek back and forth. What's your experience with Star Trek, Matthew?
Well, my dad also got me into Star Trek. He grew up, he and his brother grew up, my uncle, who is also his brother, because that's how families happen sometimes.
Right. In Star Trek and in our current timeline.
Exactly. They were huge fans of the original series growing up. So when I was growing up, we would watch any and all reruns we could find. Or they used to do those marathons. Didn't NBC do a marathon every 4th of July? I just remember definitely in the summer where we would watch episode after episode. And then we would also watch Next Generation. I had a weird blind spot for Deep Space Nine just because I only watched it here and there growing up, but I've been watching it more and more during the pandemic thanks to Mr. Erik Mona, but we'll get to that. Yeah, and then obviously I was a big fan of the movies. I was gonna say I felt very primed going into the pandemic because of our green room experience, Skid, and we would watch all the battles, and then we would Sulu and in Star Trek 6, fly her apart then! We would yell at each other to get us pumped up for the show. So then when the pandemic rolled around, I was rewatch some Star Trek. But yeah. It has popped up in my life for my entire life, so it's been a very welcome companion.
It is. It's kind of, I don't know if you guys find this, but for me, it is this wonderful kind of comforting constant through most of my entire life, really. There's always some Trek around. It was just always something that I would just throw on, and I would go to sleep to it a lot. It would always be on at 11 o'clock at night, in Denver, and it's just something so comforting about it that I just love coming back to again and again. But I'm very excited to hear. Now this is the guy who intimidates me about Star Trek. I have very high expectations of you, Mr. Mona, about your Star Trek knowledge. I know you're a huge fan, maybe not as big a fan as Bullman.
Right, Jason Bullman. Yep, our lead designer.
Fan.
Big fan.
But I know you're a huge fan. So what is your experience / history with Star Trek?
Well, I've been kind of interested in it since I was a little kid. I got the first and second issue of the official Star Trek: The Next Generation magazine before the first episode ever even came out.
So
by the time Yeah, 87 or
man.
something like that. So by the
Wow.
time Groppler
What a
Zorn
nerd.
showed his face in Encounter at Farpoint, I already knew all the characters' names. I knew that there were going to be a horrific new, like, worse than Klingon race that was going to be introduced as a villain. Something called the Ferengi.
That worked
and
out really well,
I was
yeah.
ready. I was primed, and so I watched all of Next Generation. I watched all of Deep Space Nine. I watched all of Voyager. I watched most of Enterprise. I'm watching the new ones. Like, I just love Star Trek, And at the beginning of the pandemic, Danica, my partner, who we've been together for like 12 years, pandemics really change people, right? It's really given us all, I think, an opportunity to just take a break, look inward a little bit, and I remember very early in the pandemic, we'd polished off Tiger King or whatever, and Danica turned to me and she said the most beautiful words I've ever heard her say, and it was, maybe we should watch Deep Space Nine from the beginning.
Oh.
And I just, like, as soon as I was done wiping a tear, we were on the Emissary, episode 1. Yes, we've gone all the way through Deep Space Nine. We're now in the middle of season 2 of Next Generation. I think I might go a little TOS. That's probably the one that
Ooh.
I'm least knowledgeable about, and that in the animated series. So I'm excited about that. And I gotta say though, I am a little nervous myself because I do love Star Trek. I do, incorporate references people don't understand into regular business meetings and conversations with strangers and all of that kind of stuff. So I think I'm going to be covered there. But I'm looking around, and I see Alicia is wearing a wonderful costume. Kate's got, I don't know what's going on behind her, but it's got the Star Trek logo on
Yes.
it. And I'm literally 5 minutes before we go out live here, I'm like, I don't have anything. Like, how could I be proof that I'm a Star Trek nerd? And then I realized just by reaching my hand like less than 2 feet on my work desk here, I have a pile of game cards and cards like any nerd does. And right there, like in the 5th card, randomly, it's been there for like 10 years, Wesley Crusher trading card.
Wow.
It's
what
never
a
really
treasure.
left me. It's never really left me. It's been with me all along, and I'm happy to have it here as my touchstone.
That's
to keep it
wonderful.
real.
That's
Yeah.
really wonderful. So do you have a favorite movie, favorite character?
Yeah, absolutely. I like the ones that are just a little bit off kilter. So I like stuff like Yesterday's Enterprise, where you get like an alternate version of the Enterprise. I like the one where the Enterprise C comes out of time and it's a woman as a captain, before Janeway. I thought that was awesome. That whole storyline was rad.
Yeah,
So
Christopher
I kinda
McDonald
like,
is in that one. I love that
I
one.
know, and he's
Yeah.
great, and I really like those ones where you get something that's a little off kilter, but in some ways it kind of like reveals some important bit about the lore of the world or whatever all along. So I'm a big fan.
Yeah, me too. And I didn't ask Matthew or Alicia. Matthew, who's your favorite character / episode movie?
Ooh. We were right before we went on the air. We were talking about watching some of the episodes you watched when you were a kid, and like the ones I think Eric, you were saying like the ones that you really loved, and then you're like, oh, this isn't actually that good. But then the ones you thought were boring are actually amazing.
Right.
And I mean, like this is the most boring answer in the most front door, as Troy LaValle would say, answer in the world. But I remember being really bored by The Inner Light when I was a kid, and and then when I turned,
Yes, right.
and then I became an adult, and I was like, this is the greatest sci-fi story ever told.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It's shattering. It is a shattering story.
It's unbelievably good.
Alicia, did we talk about your favorite character?
You know what's okay? As far as favorite, we're gonna talk about favorite like episodes. I loved in TNG, even though I hated them. I loved when the Borg were introduced
Yes.
because my favorite character is Q.
What?
I
Good
absolutely
choice.
love
Good choice.
He's a space troll, and he doesn't realize what he does, but he changes everything for the whole franchise. So I loved when like when the Borg were introduced, but yeah. I mean, I hated the Borg because they made Picard cry, and that broke my heart into a million pieces. I couldn't watch that. I was like, but I also loved it because they were so like, I mean, just evil, and they were like, we don't need to assimilate you. We just have to kill you because you're not worth it. You're not a high enough life form. You're a human. And I was
Yeah.
like, whoa.
Yeah, there's such a great nemesis. There's such a great villain. Yeah, that's awesome.
Totally.
And yeah, I love Picard's like whole experience with the Borg, like that. That really gets to me. And actually, speaking of which, Grant, you told me a very lovely story about you and your wife. You've been watching together. Tell us also what your history with Trek is, and share that little anecdote that you told me the other day.
So, Star Trek and I had a really lovely 8 o'clock on TNT situation on the Quasar 23-inch TV my parents put in my room mistakenly with basic cable hooked up in the back. And I would watch WWF at the time wrestling, followed back to back with TNG episodes.
Oh,
and it
what
was...
a night. Who needs girls?
It was, it was just an absolute delight. And Star Trek certainly stayed with me longer than wrestling did, although that also had a resurgence recently. It's funny how those things are cyclical. But Angel, because of my broken, now surgically repaired Borg-esque shoulder, she had often put off and demurred at my suggestions of nerdy things to watch, but with the sympathy I engendered with my shoulder, I was able to suggest that we watch some Star Trek one evening. And I put on the Best of Both Worlds Part 1.
Whoa.
Final episode of Season 3. I didn't expect anything. You know, sometimes you put on those things. It happens with friends. It happens with your spouse. It happens with important people in your life. And sometimes, you know, it's the most awful feeling at a party when you're like, everyone check out this video. And then no one laughs.
Yeah.
But what happens in slow motion with people you really love is that they go from watching to like slowly checking their phone. Mm-hmm. And you just either feel sad or angry or both. Yeah. And Angel didn't do that. And she was like, why does that person have a blue colored suit and that person have, and I'm like, well, that's Dr. Beverly Crusher and she's medical staff. And you can clearly tell who's captain based off of the 4 insignias there. And it's easier to tell than a standard military insignia between a private first class and you know, you can't tell that in the it's so easy. And it's funny because there's a subplot of a new character trying to become number 1 on the ship, and she's like following all that, and like she's just asking more and more questions, and she's into it, and then she loves it. And we watched the second part, and now she's in. She really loves seeing Worf's adopted family. His parents visit the vessel as well. Oh, very good piece. So anyway, love it. It's also just the best series because no matter what adversity they face, they solve it in the most utopian, humanistic way possible. And you just feel good about being a human. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's part of why it's so comforting. Part of it is just the ambient ship noise is just a great, just comforting kind of sound. But that's a big part of why it holds such a special place in my heart. I think a lot of people's hearts is for that reason. It's like it just represents this sort of evolution of humanity to this higher plane. You know,
like this imagined sort of utopia thing. I love the fact that you could look into the like cafeteria area and you could just see all these different types and species, and like there's some like with weird faces and like blowing air and nobody's like reacting, and I'm like, wow, wouldn't that be amazing?
I know. Like I can't even have lunch with a Raiders fan. Like, I would throw my tray in his face. Like I can't. You know, maybe one day.
It's really a testament to that, like, of all the fictional universes, I feel like I always, like, and when people ask you, like, what fictional universe would you like to live in? Like, Star Trek is usually my answer, because every time I watch, especially, like, Next Generation or Voyager or Deep Space Nine, I'm like, yeah, it would be great to live on the ship. Which is really astounding to me, because something terrible happens to that ship every episode.
But they're always fine. It always works out.
For the
I think you'd be fun being on the ship. But also, like, the whole premise of, like, being in that timeline, like, all weird, human, annoying things have been solved. Like, that's the point, and that's why they're exploring, and it's like, that must be great.
Right? Everything, like, glasses, I mean, still doesn't happen, stuff like that, but you know what would turn me off the ship life, though, is, I mean, we're talking about replicators here, so, like, nothing's wasted. So, like, what, the garbage is, like, your lunch the next day? What's going on? I want to know what's up with that.
Try not to think about that.
Yeah, you don't want to think about that.
I don't think about replicators.
It's like cleaning the holodeck. You don't want to think about anything like that at all.
I just,
think about cleaning the holodeck either. aboard.
just
Best not to.
I just don't want to serve in Starfleet. I just would not want to serve in Starfleet because every week they run into a new temporal anomaly, and someone gets turned inside out, or they see an Irish ghost or something, and it's like I just let me live on Earth. I just want to live in San Francisco or New Orleans. Like that seems awesome. I'll just live there. I don't want to be on the frontier. I just don't want to mess around.
Well, you know, one upside of living in New Orleans, Skid. You could have Ben Sisko's dad's cooking.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Every night.
Yeah, and I will say that because for my part, I came pretty late also to Deep Space Nine. I get the same way with Voyager. I was like, oh, they're stuck on a space station? Like, I don't want to see that. I want to see them flying through the universe and shooting lasers. But I was like, eventually I came back to it and I was like, oh no, this is clearly the best product that they put out.
It's the best one.
And I don't know the name of the episode, but do you guys know there's an episode where Benjamin Sisko gets unstuck in time, but he's tethered to Jake, he's tethered to his son. So like every 17 years, is that what it is?
I think it is a visitor. Tony Todd is his dad.
Oh, yeah, Tony Todd. The great Tony Todd, who also played Worf's brother.
Commander Kern.
Yes.
Worf's brother, yes.
Yeah.
Who is your
And,
favorite
Candyman.
Klingon, if I'm not mistaken?
He is my favorite Klingon by far.
Good Klingon.
Amazing
Good Klingon.
actor. Great guy. One of the first, I think he was the first celebrity to follow the Glass Cannon account on Twitter. Like 5 years ago. I don't know why. I just complimented him.
The reason was concerted and generous effort on your part to praise his performances.
It's true. I made up an award and I gave it to him. So maybe
That's awesome.
But the
That's
episode,
awesome.
so it's like every 17 years, Ben shows up at a different stage in his son's life. And he's just hopping through time. And every time he sees his son, he's just like, he's 17 years older and he's got kids and everything. And by the end of that episode, I can't even watch it again because I am just shattered. I'm in tears. I'm bawling by the end of that episode every time. So that's what I want out of Star Trek.
So you ready to make us cry, Skid?
I'm gonna try.
You know,
I'm gonna try to make you guys cry. So
Single Picard tier.
Challenge accepted.
in a light, there are 4 lights. So tonight is basically a session 0. So what we're mostly going to be focused on is creating these characters and seeing how they end up meshing together. And you guys can pick your roles on the ship and everything. And then we're going to create your ship, which should be fun. So if you guys would all refer to, if I can find it. Oh, I closed it by accident, so that's great. But Modiphius has this incredible character creator app, and maybe Brennan can post the link in the chat here. But and Grant will probably showing it to us now. But it's sta.modiphiusapps.hostinguk.org. And it is the Star Trek Adventures creation app. And so I want everybody to log into that and click on characters and starships.
Can you give that URL one more time?
It's
St.
Do you guys have it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have it.
I don't.
Okay, you have it.
STA.
Okay, so we are going to be in the Next Generation timeline. And so this is this is the year 2371, and we'll get into some of the significance of that later. But so you guys are going to be creating your characters, Starfleet personnel, and you are going to be able to choose from a bunch of different options. You guys can choose from the core races, species, and Alpha Quadrant and Beta Quadrant species. So if you can click on all of those. And then go down and it says select which era to play in and go down to Next Generation mid-24th century and hit select.
Got that.
Okay, and you guys are all Starfleet personnel, so we'll click on that. And okay, so we're gonna go with our species. So let's start with Alicia. So, do you have an idea of what species you would like to play?
Yes. Yes, I actually wanted to be she identifies as a Romulan, but her mother was part Vulcan because I cannot cosplay Vulcans because every time I do, I get yelled at because I'm too emotive. People see pictures of me and I'm like this, and I get dragged online, so I can't just be a Vulcan. I have to be a Romulan, but her mother has like Vulcan in her, but she sort of identifies as a Romulan. So I'm going to go Romulan-Vulcan mix, I guess.
Okay, so what we do with when there's a hybrid species, which there's a lot of in Star Trek, as we know, what you do is you pick the dominant species, and that will determine your bonuses to your attributes or whatever. So do you think they would be more dominant Romulan or more dominant? So they identify as Romulan, right?
Romulan.
Okay, so go ahead and pick Romulan. Okay. Okay, so that's okay. We'll get back to you. All right.
Okay.
So next up, Kate, do you have an idea of what species you would like to be?
I played with this app yesterday and immediately got super overwhelmed. I'm either going to randomize it, or I was thinking of maybe doing a little Betazoid because it's like not like me at all. So I'll be forced to play something that I don't relate to.
Interesting.
Like feelings. Ooh. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it's up to you. Do you want to randomize or do you want to be Betazoid?
I want to randomize.
I want to randomize. Okay.
Nice.
This should be interesting.
I'm just so excited to find
dangerously.
out what this
This is so exciting.
So nervous. What do I do?
So, we'll see how this works. So I want you to take, you should have two 20-sided dice.
Yes.
Roll them both and give me the number that you end up with.
I've got a 12 and a 6.
Okay, so that's 18. Okay, so that I believe is a Ferengi.
Oh no! Yes! I'm having so much fun.
Are you okay with the Ferengi?
That's perfect.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Whatever.
So I think canonically, this is actually before, because I think, is it Nog that ends up joining Starfleet?
Yep.
Okay, so this is before that. So I think canonically, non-canonically, you would be the first Ferengi member of Starfleet. So that's great.
I honestly, with this game too, wanted to try out like doing a voice for my character because I haven't really been
Nice.
doing that. So this is great.
I love it. I love it. Okay.
So I just go select species and then select Ferengi.
Yeah. Select species, select Ferengi, and then we will get back to you.
Okay.
Okay. So next up is Matthew. Matthew, do you have a species you would like to play?
I have been, as you know, I've been going back and forth on this for weeks. But I think I settled on it this morning. I think I'm going to go half Bolian, half human.
Half Bolian. Who are the Bolians?
Nice.
The Bolians,
Blue.
they've been around for forever, but they're usually bald. They're all blue, and they kind of have the seam running down the center of their.
Oh, this is the barber on
Mott the barber is a
Barber,
Bolian. Yes.
yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. Okay.
But yeah, and dominant Bolian.
Dominant Bolian. Okay. So you present as a Bolian. Okay. Interesting. All right. So that should give you some pretty cool options there. And Mr. Erik Mona, what do you? I think you talked with me a little bit about your concept.
Did. Yeah, I've got the nubbin of a concept going in my head, and so with all the vast options available to me, I'm going to pick human. I'm going to be a human.
Okay.
We were all talking about Star Trek. It tells you about the future of humanity. Well, let's have a human on the crew.
Yeah, that sounds like just a run of the mill average human.
Just a dude.
Yeah, nothing standing
guy.
out there. or
Normal
anything.
nose, nothing weird. Just a dude.
Okay. Okay, so let's go back to Alicia's Romulan/Vulcan. And Romulans, from the text here, Romulans are similar but not quite identical to Vulcans, having diverged from their common ancestors, though they did not adapt the stoicism and logic of their cousins. Rather, Romulans are a cruel and ruthless people, quick to anger and easily moved to emotion. A culture of military discipline seems to keep their worst members directed towards useful ends, though paranoia and self-interest motivate Romulan politics as much as desire for collective benefit. At times, it seems the only things keeping the Romulan Star Empire together are the fact that they despise other species more than they despise each other.
Sounds great.
Okay. So you get as a dominant Romulan, you
Yes.
get bonuses to 3 of your attributes. You get a +1 bonus to your control.
Okay.
Control it's basically your ability to stay calm in a crisis. That's what that mostly means. Fitness, you get a +1 to that, which is just general physical ability. And reason, which is just logic and intelligence.
Got a +1.
Great.
Woohoo!
Okay,
Perfect.
and then I believe that you pick 1 talent at this stage. So
There's a lot.
yes, there's a list of talents underneath there. So why don't you? Well, let's have you just look through that, and we'll get back to you on that. And yeah, just pick one that you like. Pick one that sounds good to you. Okay, so let's move on to Kate's Ferengi. All right, so let's see, Ferengi. Okay, so Ferengi are mostly concerned with the gathering of wealth. They started off as a carnivorous nemesis species for the Federation that was supposed to take the place of the Romulans and the Klingons, but it never really worked out. So they took a different tack with it after Roddenberry left the world. So as a Romulan, or as a Ferengi, Kate, you get a +1 bonus to control, to insight, which is sort of wisdom and empathy. You get a +1 bonus to that, and a +1 bonus to presence.
Nice.
You also get a trait, the Ferengi trait. Do you want to read that for us, Kate?
Yeah, so it says Ferengi possess acute hearing far beyond that of all humanoid races and are able to hear both higher and lower pitched frequencies. However, this means that they experience severe pain at intense sounds and any physical trauma to their enlarged ears. They also possess a hardy immune system, rendering them immune to many common diseases, but their small stature makes them ill-suited for intense or prolonged physical exertion, and many consider them weak. Ferengi try to avoid hard labor and direct confrontation, leading to a reputation of cowardice. The structure of the Ferengi brains render them immune to telepathy.
All right. Okay. So now let's see here. So you okay. So you have a list of talents there. So why don't you look through those and pick one, and we'll come back to you. And let's do Matthew's Bolian. Do you want to read the Bolian description there, Matthew?
Sure. From the planet Belarus 9, Bolians are well known for their hospitality and outgoing personalities. Identified by a cartilaginous ridge that extends down their head vertically down the center of the face to the chest, with a skin color ranging from light blues to dark greens and muted purples with darker banding across the head. Is this what you were hoping for, or do you want me to do the trait stuff? Skid,
I want the traits too, but this is good.
Okay. They are predominantly bald, though some females are known to have hair on their heads. Bolian marriages have more than 2 partners of both sexes, but procreation with other species isn't all that common, given the Bolians' incompatibility with others. Humans, in particular, have noted several side effects of interspecies relations, including nausea, fatigue, and inflammation. So my parents really, really loved each other.
Yeah, they'd have to. Okay. And what is your Bolian trait?
Bolians are able, thanks to their cartilaginous tongues, to consume substances unsafe to other species, such as acids or decaying meats. Bolian hearts are on the right side of their body, moving blue blood around their circulatory system. Bolians are an understanding, hospitable species, often forward-facing in their duties in customer relations or diplomatic service.
Oh, that's lovely. Okay, so so there it gives you a list of talents there for you to pick. Why don't you go ahead and pick one?
Should we be looking at these talents with an eye towards our eventual role on the ship, or should we just be picking
If you
one?
have something in mind, if you have a role that you want to perform on the ship, go ahead and go for that. Otherwise, just whatever sounds good to you in the moment. You'll have the opportunity to pick more, so we'll be able to flesh this out a little bit as we go. All right, so now let's go to Erik Mona's human.
Indeed.
Okay, so as a human, let's go down here. You get to select any 3 attributes and get a +1 bonus to any 3 of them.
Right.
So, actually, yeah, this is a good opportunity for me to say what the attributes are.
Sure.
There's control, which I pointed out. It's more like self-control, ability to stay calm in a crisis. Daring, which is bravery. It's probably the Captain Kirk's chief asset. Fitness, physical strength, constitution, dexterity, all that. It's interesting because this system is cool. Almost all but one of the attributes are mental. There's only one physical, and it's fitness. Insight is empathy, wisdom. Presence is charisma, and reason is intelligence, ability to problem solve. So what 3 attributes do you think your human would want to boost?
I think my human is going to go with presence, control, and daring.
Okay. I like it. All right. Okay. All right. So let's go back to Alicia here. Alicia, have you picked a talent? You have. What would it be?
Okay. Basically, the largest difference between Romulans and Vulcans is that Romulans lack the intense mental discipline that is common to Vulcans. So I need to give her a little boost in being able to control herself. So I'm going to go with Dauntless. Whenever you attempt a task to resist being intimidated or threatened, I may add a bonus d20 to my dice pool.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay, so attempt a task to resist being intimidated or threatened. Okay, yeah, so it's just a little more mental fortitude there. Okay, that's interesting.
Yes.
Okay, so Kate's Ferengi. Kate, do you have a talent that you wanted to pick?
Yeah, I chose one of the Ferengi-based ones, and I'm choosing one called Knowledge Equals Profit. And when a character, when a character spends momentum die to obtain information, an additional momentum is added to the group's momentum pool.
Oh,
after all other momentum spends are resolved. So it's kind of like helping out the team.
Okay, that's very good. Momentum,
I feel like it'd be very useful.
That should be very useful. Yeah, I like that. Okay, what about Matthew's Bolian?
I chose a Bolian talent. It's called Born Near a Warp Core. Bolian traditions say that a child born near an active warp core has an improved, more positive disposition. Optimism and an upbeat attitude certainly lends credence to this tradition, allowing the Bolian to weather misfortune. When they suffer a complication from a task, you roll 1 CD. If the result is in effect, the complication is ignored. Once a complication has been ignored in this way, the Bolian may not ignore another complication for the remainder of the scene.
Okay, all right, so CD is a challenge die. That is a 6-sided die, and they have special dice that they print up for this. They're gone, though. They're really hard to get now, but as far as I can tell. But basically, it's used a lot for damage, like if you're in combat. So if you're using regular 6-sided dice, 1 is like 1 damage, 2 is 2 damage, 3 and 4 are nothing, and 5 and 6 are 1 damage with an effect, and that will change based on whatever it is you're doing in the moment. Okay, interesting. All right, so what about our human?
Well, I too am going to take a species. What are these called? Traits or talents? And I'm going to go with Spirit of Discovery. You have the drive, spirit, and courage to voyage into the unknown. You may spend 1 determination to add 3 points to the group momentum pool. The normal conditions for spending determination still apply.
Okay. Wow. Okay, cool. So determination is related to your values, and we'll get to that later. But values are things, just whatever these are, they're concepts or people that your character values. And when you come into a situation where your value would be applicable, where it might apply, everyone starts with 1 point of determination, and you can use that point of determination basically to get 1 free critical success. And there are some other uses for it, but that's one thing. So, and then momentum, when you succeed at a task, if you succeed more than usual, you will get momentum points, and you can trade those in for little benefits as you go. There's a group pool for those. Okay, so
Steve, I'm so glad you're willing to teach us this. I said this to everybody before we went on, but I've had this beautiful, gorgeous core rulebook for a while now, and every time I sit down to learn the rules of the game, I just get stuck on the first page. The alpha and beta quadrant maps, and I just spend the rest of my time reading those.
Yeah, I have been losing my mind. I've been feeling like I've been cramming for finals for the last 2 weeks.
Me too.
But my finals is all Star Trek, so it's really weird.
Yes, it's fun.
But I think I have a handle on the rule. If anyone has any questions, just ask, and I'll give you an incorrect answer. Probably.
I know I will. I definitely will.
Please feel free.
We can blame you.
Okay. All right. So did we do everybody for talents?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So let's go back to Alicia. And
yes.
Okay, so you're the Romulan. Okay, so now we will go to, at the bottom of that page, there is a tab that says environment. Click on that.
Yes. Ooh.
Okay, so now this is where your character grew up, where they were shaped. So you can either select an environment or you can roll for one randomly. If you have an idea,
it depends on if I feel like. Go ahead.
Yeah. If you have an idea of what kind of childhood they had, you can say that, or if you just want to roll randomly, you can do that.
I started, as soon as we started building these characters, I had this idea where her father was part of the Romulan Star Empire, and he was in the military, and he was vacationing, or he was on shore leave in the Alpha Quadrant on Ryza.
Yeah. Sure. Nice.
See, that's where you'd live. You'd just live on Ryza.
Yeah, great.
Don't put me on a starship, not a Federation starship. Just leave me on Ryza. I'll be totally fine.
And he was at a gentleman's club, and he met a beautiful half Vulcan at the gentleman's club. She was a dancer, and that's where my character comes from.
Okay.
So I don't know if they should. It comes from that union.
Nice.
Okay.
So should they live?
Yeah. So she grew up in the Federation, on a Federation planet? Do you think on Ryza?
Yeah. I think because I don't know if she should be from from Romulan. She can't be from the Beta Quadrant, because then I don't think it would be interesting to figure out how they ended up with the Federation. So maybe her father became part of the Federation, or went to Starfleet,
defected.
decided to learn, or something like that. Yeah. And then
Maybe
the mom,
defected.
yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Defected, and the mom got off the pole, and she went to Starfleet Academy herself.
Okay.
And she became an officer, and so my girl grew up in the Federation.
Okay.
On a starship.
Okay.
She grew up on a starship.
Yes. She grew up on a starship. So you think that her dad joined Starfleet?
Yeah, somehow,
After
maybe
defecting.
maybe his life was saved by a Starfleet officer, and he just started to believe in what the Federation was doing, which was really kind of, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, so let's say, how about this? So how about, because I don't think, especially when your character would have been growing up, it probably wouldn't have been feasible for Romulan to actually join Starfleet, but maybe he joined them as a consultant. Like he wasn't a Starfleet officer, but he was.
Yeah.
But he lived on a starship. He might have lived on a Federation starship and helped them somehow. And you might have.
Or maybe he was a mole. Maybe he was a mole for a while and then became.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. I like that. Okay. So keep thinking about this. But in the meantime, Starship or Starbase is your option there.
Where does it say that?
So it should be. So if you click on select. Oh shoot! I just lost.
Starship or Starbase. I see it.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. Okay. So click on that and let me know what it says because I just erased it.
Okay, it says the character grew up in space, traveling aboard a starship, or living aboard a space station or starbase. While they're unlikely to have lived aboard a Starfleet vessel, only some of them really carry whole families. Many freighters, transports, and other civilian vessels have a tradition of family or generational crews, and many officers with families take postings to starbases rather than ships. Those raised in space learn the ins and outs of shipboard life as children, and many are groomed for leadership and learn to fly a shuttle in their formative years.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so you get to select either control or insight and get a +1 bonus to that.
Control is your emotions, or is it controlling?
Yeah, it's control. It's ability to stay cool and controlling your emotions like that. Yeah.
And insight is basically like an insight check if you know how to do something on the ship.
It's more it's more like empathy. It's more like being able to relate to other sentient beings.
Okay, it's going to be control then. +1.
Okay. Okay.
Personality wise.
Okay, she's shaping up. Okay, and then you get to select one discipline. So there are, in addition to the six attributes, there are 6 disciplines that are sort of fields of expertise in Starfleet. So you can pick from one of these 3. You can pick from command, which is the command track, just like ordering other people around. Con, which is piloting starships, or engineering. So you can pick one of those and get a bonus to that.
I went to Con. I want to fly the ships. Especially because she learned how to fly a shuttle in her formative years. It makes sense.
Okay, so she's a pilot. She's a budding pilot. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so let's move on to Kate. All right, so do you have an idea of where your character was raised? Kate.
I'm gonna roll it.
You're gonna roll it. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is gonna be a chaos character.
Okay. Click on roll.
Roll. Homeworld?
Okay, so you grew up on your own homeworld. You grew up on the Ferengi homeworld.
Okay.
Ferengar.
Yeah,
Ferengar.
it says I come from the world that birthed my civilization, and I've been surrounded by the cultural, spiritual legacies of that my entire life. Species homeworlds are often utopian and idyllic, serving as the platonic ideal of that species culture. They also exemplify aspects of that culture's most revered traditions and serve as the heart of that civilization's legal and political landscape. That was hard.
Okay. Very cool. So how did you get to how did you become a Federation officer growing up on Ferengar?
I mean, I want to go where the money takes me, I guess. And this is where
money is. Everyone knows that if you want to get rich, you go into Starfleet. That's for sure.
Or like maybe it's like trying to find rare things that could be more valuable than like things you can find to sell or jobs that you can get just anywhere on the homeworld. Maybe all the jobs in the homeworld were taken up. I don't know.
Okay.
It really is a daring entrepreneurial maneuver to be the only Ferengi in Starfleet.
I like that. An entrepreneur Ferengi.
Yeah. So you're in Starfleet to gain experience so that you can open your own like ramen shop?
Yeah. Something like that.
Okay. The 27th
I want to go
rule
back
of
to my
acquisition.
homeworld. I want to go back to my homeworld and open a business eventually.
Okay.
But I need some life experience first, I guess.
Okay, cool. I feel like you'd probably get kicked out really quickly, but that's okay. That's good. So you can pick one of control, insight, or presence to get a 1-point bonus.
Let's see. Control my emotions, insight, or I feel like I want to do presence.
So charisma.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
If I want to be an entrepreneur, I think I might need that.
Yeah, that's probably smart. Okay, and then you have your choice of 3 disciplines. You can either pick command, science, or security.
I'm thinking maybe leaning towards command or science would make the most sense, or am I completely off?
No, it's whatever you want. So yeah, command is ordering people around, science is science, and security is
Worf.
Starship. Yeah, it's Worf. It's not just like starship security. It's all things combat. It's like firing phasers. It's ship's weapon systems,
Tactical.
batleth, like everything. So
I feel like command, because if I'm going to be running my own business, I might have employees.
we may have the very first
the
Ferengi
dream.
captain in Starfleet here.
Oh, wow.
So
Is that what that means?
It could be. I don't know. This is how it's shaping up. Okay, so you take command.
Okay.
Oh, and you get a value here.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to, at this stage of your upbringing, you have to pick something, a value that's important to you. So yeah, and you're encouraged to kind of make up your own. But this should be something that is specific, but can be pretty broadly applicable. So is it something to do, is it just money? Do you just like, you're looking to make money? Is that what your value is? Or is it
like an important item, or just like a value in general?
It's just like a spiritual value.
Spiritual
Just like
value.
I value the acquisition of wealth. Like you could say that.
Yeah, like maybe they want to be able to go back home and build an empire type of thing.
Sure.
So that's my value.
Okay.
Is being the Ferengi like Jeff Bezos.
Okay. Put that in there. The Ferengi Jeff Bezos. That's perfect.
Nice.
The Grand Nagus.
Yes, you want to be the Grand Nagus.
Okay.
And then, we didn't do Alicia's value. You have to choose a value at this point too, Alicia. It's the same
Okay,
kind
for
of thing.
her,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it where she lost both her parents. Like her parents, like perished on the USS Triumph or something.
Nice.
And they were like, I guess they were like way off in the Gamma Quadrant or something. So she just wants to explore. Like she just wants to be out there and on a ship. She doesn't like being on the base. She likes being out in space and exploring. That's what drives her.
Okay, so space exploration, that's something that you value.
She's the one they're gonna be like, hey, we should probably leave this planet. And she's the one that's gonna be like, no, let's check one more time. She's that person.
Okay. We can call that.
She likes to lead yes.
We can call that where no one has gone before. That can be your value.
Okay. No one wants to go.
Right. All right. So now for Matthew's character, where did they grow up?
I think I'm gonna go with isolated colony,
Okay.
and I'm trying to pick an isolated colony, but I'll get back to you on which one.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
basically,
you can make one up.
It says this character comes from a colony that is isolated from the broader galactic society. Worlds like the Vulcan Monastery on Pajem use the vast distances between star systems as an opportunity for contemplative isolation, while others are settled because they present unique research opportunities. The cultures of these colonies tend to focus on learning and introspection. So I think, he grew up, his parents, I think at least one of his parents were a Starfleet officer. Maybe one of his parents was a scientist, and I think he's very interested in. He didn't grow up around a lot of kids and a lot of other people, and yeah, I think that's kind of that feels. But he's also very outgoing because he's a Bolian, so he's very into being around people after not having done that his whole life.
Is he one? Was he and his parent, were they the only Bolians around? Do you think, or were there others?
Probably, yeah. I think it's probably like his mom was the only Bolian, and he's certainly the only half Bolian, and
Yeah.
obviously there are plenty of Bolians in the in the alpha and beta quadrants, but maybe not on this particular colony.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So with isolated colony, you get to pick one of either insight or reason to get a bonus.
I will choose insight.
Insight. Okay. Interesting. All right. And you get to pick either for disciplines, engineering, medicine, or science as a focus.
Any one of these feels exciting to me, and I don't want to step on anyone's toes. Eric, do you have a preference for what I should pick here or not pick here?
I'm kind of hovering between command and science right now, so but I could go either way.
Great. I will do engineering.
Engineering. Okay, great. And then also you get to pick a value. So what is your Boolean value at this? What is the value that they've developed at this early stage of their life?
I feel like I'm trying to combine the Booleanness and the engineeringness, and maybe it's that he just feels that everyone should get to benefit from technology. Like everyone should get to benefit from new technology.
Okay. All right. I like that.
What about Prime Directive?
That sounds like a situation prime for some conflict.
Yeah, see that's something that can come up later too. So if there's a conflict with one of your values, that can come into play too. But okay, but I like that technology for all. All right, I like that. That's very, very good. Thank you, Matthew. All right, and now let's go to our human. So I think I know where you might have grown up, but where'd your human grow up?
Well,
Eric?
The thing is, I think I want to pick Homeworld.
Okay.
And I think I'd like to pick the planet Earth.
Oh, interesting.
So my human, in a world of infinite possibilities, a galaxy of infinite possibilities, I choose to play a human who grew up on Earth. And you'd say, Eric, you're not embracing the spirit of Star Trek The Next Generation with that choice, and you might be right. But I would counter that by telling you a little story. You see, Skid? Some 7 years ago, one of the Federation's Galaxy-class starships, while en route to the neutral zone, came across what could only be described as a space module floating in the depths of space. And upon investigation, they learned that in fact that space module was from the old days of Earth, and in fact contained cryogenically frozen humans from the 1990s. Now, only 3 people survived that particular cryogenic ship, but surely it set off a hunt across the stars for other cryogenic ships.
Okay.
And among one of those ships was my character.
That's
the
awesome.
human, middle-aged, balding, fat Fred Rutherford of the Catskills in New York.
Oh my god.
Who died in 1993 of an aneurysm, but whose lovely wife paid to have his body cryogenically frozen and shot into space in the hopes that one day he might be restored. And indeed he was restored by a Federation ship. And looking around at this new fantastical world, he thought, where's a place for me? If I can't beat him, I'll join him. So he immediately enlisted in Starfleet Academy as one of the oldest cadets in history to join Starfleet and chart a science fictional future here in the year 2371.
Wow.
So
okay.
I think with that in mind, my value, I'd like it to be something like out of time. He's trying to find his place in this new frontier.
Okay, I like that. Okay. That's great.
Fred Rutherford.
Fred Rutherford.
Fred Rutherford. Yeah, that's my name.
So what was Fred Rutherford's 1990s or late 20th century upbringing like? Like, what was his background on Earth?
I'm glad you asked, because Fred Rutherford was he was a theater director for a children's youth program He married rich. It was his wife who had all the money to put him into cryogenic sleep. But in his time, Fred Rutherford was a theater director.
Okay.
And he's good with people. He's real good with people and put himself in the mindset of others. So I believe that he will have spent one of his disciplines in the Science Academy, in particular, the mental sciences.
Oh.
Because one of the things that really helped him on his way from his cryogenic sleep back to Starfleet was the ship's counselor. And he thought, how nice and how very 1990s that there's a ship's counselor on board all these ships.
And posted to the bridge.
Maybe that
Yeah.
could be a job for me in the future. So he went to study at Starfleet Academy, hopefully become a ship's counselor.
Okay, all right, so that's your aim. You're trying to be ship's counselor. Okay, that's great.
If it's all right with the rest of the crew, we'll get there. But that's
Okay.
definitely something I'm interested in.
Okay, all right, so that's your career track. That's really interesting. So you get to pick one attribute to boost. I assume it's going to be insight then?
Yeah, I think it's going to be insight. Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, beautiful. All right. Okay, so now let's go back to Alicia.
Yes.
And okay, so what was your value? What did you say your value was?
We said my value is she just has 0 fear, which can be a good thing and a bad thing depending, because she just likes exploration so much, which is, kind of one of the benchmarks of being someone who joins Starfleet. But she just wants to keep pushing and pushing and pushing further and further.
Okay.
So we said where no one has gone before, where no
Yes.
one wants to go.
Excellent. Okay. And then you picked command, science, or security. What did you pick?
I think I'm going to do con because we don't really have a pilot. I mean, we don't have a pilot of all of us. We have a Ferengi command person. We have a Bolian engineer. We have a human counselor.
I hope so.
I think I'm going to... Oh, that's true. And then I think I'll take the con then.
Okay.
It's either the con or engineering.
Okay, con,
But we have an
okay.
engineer, so I con.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so, and then what did you pick out of control or insight?
I did control. You're
Control.
going to need it.
Right. Okay, cool. Okay. So, all right, where no one has gone before. Okay, so now let's go to your upbringing. So this is, if you want to, we can either select your upbringing. You seem to have a good idea of it, or we can just roll for it. What do you want to do?
Well, I just clicked on select upbringing, and it says there's actually a Starfleet option, so I should probably just choose that. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Because it makes sense.
It does. And
Boring, but it makes sense.
No, this makes
Perfect.
perfect sense. So at this stage, this is really kind of a cool mechanic. You have to decide whether you accept your upbringing, like the values that were instilled in you growing up, or reject it. So whether you rebel against it or accept it. So do you accept or rebel your Starfleet upbringing?
My parents were very by the book, and although she did grow up and join Starfleet, her parents, well, you know what? No, she accepts it because that is actually what led to her parents' demise. So she just kind of follows in their footsteps and does the same thing. Like, wants to do more and go further, even though without, paying attention to what she should be doing. So I'm going to say, accept, right? Would that be accepting?
Yeah. That means you accept. You're like, yeah, you know what? Starfleet's pretty awesome. I'm gonna be a good child. I'm gonna be what my parents seem to want me to be. I'm going to. I'm going to continue along. Like, this is the kind of upbringing that I'm gonna continue to be this as an adult.
Okay, but if there's something that she doesn't, if there's something she wants to do that she knows she could possibly get court-martialed for in this sort of adventure, would that matter? As far as choosing
No, that can be. So you'll have opportunity to pick more values as we go.
Okay.
So if there's something that you run into, there's a situation where Starfleet regulations say one thing, but you have a value that says something else. You have to choose. So that you'll still have plenty of opportunities to be court-martialed. Don't worry.
Okay, I'll do accept.
Okay, great. Okay, so that should give you a +2 to your control and +1 to fitness.
Yes.
And then you pick another discipline to boost out of any of the 6: command, con, engineering, medicine, science, or security.
Engineering, because it makes sense. She knows how to fly a plane. She would know what's going on with the antimatter, the lithium crystals, I think, at this point.
Okay, awesome. And then you have one more talent to pick.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so let's let you look at that, and we'll come back to you with that. Okay, now I'm lost again. Kate, let's see. So, I think Kate, what was your value, Kate?
To be the Ferengi Jeff Bezos.
Right, Ferengi Jeff Bezos. Okay.
Yeah.
And what attribute did you boost out of control, insight, and presence?
I did presence.
Okay, presence. And which discipline did you boost?
Command.
Command. Okay, cool. All right. So, do you want to roll for your upbringing?
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead and click the roll upbringing tab.
Roll. Starfleet. Okay. This character's family may have a strong tradition of the Starfleet service. Is this the one that you got?
Yeah. This
Okay,
is the
so we
same
have-
as Alicia's, I think.
Oh, interesting. Let's see. Do I
Maybe you
accept-
guys knew each other growing up.
Yes.
And I mean, it would make
Somehow.
sense with like why they're in the Starfleet and left their homeworld.
Yeah.
It would tie in
Right.
with that. So I think I'm going to accept that.
Okay.
as well.
So yeah. So you ended up. You were born on Ferengar. Somehow you ended up being raised on board a Starfleet vessel.
Yeah.
Alongside a Romulan. Maybe it was a prison ship. I don't know.
And we were friends.
And you were friends. Okay. All right. So think about that. Think about how you ended up on a Starfleet vessel. Okay. So because of that, you also get +2 to your control and +1 to your fitness.
Nice.
And because you accept it, and then you get another discipline to boost out of command, con, engineering, medicine, science, and security.
What is con again? CONN?
Con is piloting starships, either
right.
from the Galaxy class to the smallest shuttle pod. That's your piloting.
I'm going to go all in on command.
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh man,
I feel like the others don't really fit
you're right.
with what I'm doing. Yeah.
That's very true. Okay, you really are gunning for captain. This is going to be very interesting. Okay, so then you have another talent to pick. We'll come back to you for that. Okay, so now we go to Matthew's Bullion. For your upbringing, do you want to roll or select?
I will select.
Okay.
I think that I'm going to go with business or trade.
Okay.
I'm going to say like this isolated colony was like a outreach trade post that the Federation set up to kind of open up new trade corridors in this particular quadrant. But of course, I'm not interested in that, in any of that, because I'm only interested in science technology. So I'm going to rebel against
Oh.
my upbringing.
Oh, how interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So choosing to rebel against that upbringing, you get a +2 to your insight and a +1 to your reason.
Yeah.
And then you get to pick another discipline to boost by 1 out of command, engineering, and science.
So should I pick, if I want to be an engineer, should I pick engineering and boost that, or should I pick like science, say, so I also have some scientific knowledge about warp cores and that kind of thing? Or
It's really up to you. And one of the points that the book makes is that everyone in Starfleet has an expectation that they will be at least minimally competent in everything that happens on board a starship. So you'll have when you muster out, when you're ready to go, you'll have at least 1 in every discipline. You already have 2 in engineering, so yeah, depending on what you want to do, you can do another point in engineering or a point in science.
I'll put another point in engineering, and then
Okay.
that way, it's just really into gadgets.
Just loves those gadgets, loves warp cores, loves impulse drives.
Have you ever seen
replicators.
such a beautiful warp field?
This is great. This is going to be so fun. Okay, so now you have a big list of talents that you can pick from. Why don't you go ahead and look at those? And okay, so Fred Rutherford.
Yeah.
So I feel like you have an idea about your upbringing. Oh, what was the attribute that you boosted?
Presence, I think.
Oh, I think it was presence. It was. Oh no,
Yeah.
it was insight, right?
Insight.
Yeah.
It was insight. It was insight.
It was insight. Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you want to select your upbringing?
Yeah, I think I took a look at the options, and I think I'm going to go with diplomacy and politics.
Okay.
I think that my mother was a New York State Assemblywoman, and my father was a lawyer. And over the kitchen table, they'd often talk about like politics and law. And I never was all that interested in that, but it gave me some insight into human nature. So I didn't love the specifics, but I love the character dynamics, you understand, of diplomacy and politics. So that's with your permission. So that's going to give me +2 presence and +1 control.
Correct. Very, very nice. And
Yeah.
then pick one discipline out of command, con, and security.
I think I'm going to go command with that one.
Okay. Pick command. All right, perfect. Okay. And then you got your list of talents there, so you can take a look at that. And let's circle back to Alicia. Did you pick a talent?
Actually, I think Sutaka told me what her talent was. That's her name. I think it's I'm gonna go for augmented ability, daring enhancement.
Oh, wow.
You gain the extraordinary attribute special rule for the daring attribute. When the character uses this ability, they increase their complication range by 2 for that task. I'm gonna need that. That's it.
Okay, awesome. That's great. And I lost you somewhere. So I'm trying to go along with everybody's thing, and I think I messed up somewhere. But so you'll have to just tell me what you see. But so and then at this point you should also get a focus. So this should be a more specific field that you focused on at like the early stages of the academy. So whether it's it can be fighting with phasers, or shuttle piloting, or warp cores, like whatever it is, just some more specific but still broadly applicable field. Like, do you have an idea for that?
You know what I'm liking? I'm liking navigation, like astronavigation, and like sort of like theoretical physics as they relate to like going into warp, like navigation.
Okay.
Like she knows this galaxy and many others.
Okay,
She knows
that's great.
planets.
Okay. What is it that's isn't there like a department that's like astrophysics? There's like an astrogation department or something?
Stellar cartography?
Stellar
Astronavigation.
cartography. Okay. But you're more about like piloting, like plotting routes and stuff. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Like she
Okay.
knows the galaxies and the planets, and she knows like the difference between an M-class planet and something else. Like she might know where certain planets are and and if they're inhabitable. She might know stuff like that.
Okay, so let's call it astral navigation. We'll call it astral navigation.
Perfect.
All right, so let's move on to Kate. Did you pick a talent?
Yes.
Okay.
Meba is cautious.
Oh, okay.
So
Meba?
Meba, she's
like it.
cautious, and
Okay.
it's whenever you attempt a task with command, you can buy 1 or more D20s by spending momentum, and you may re-roll a single D20.
Oh, that's very
Definitely
nice.
pretty helpful.
Okay, that should be very useful. And you also get a focus. So do you have like a field that you think your character would be focused on at this point in their lives?
So I'm split between hand phasers and starship recognition. Hand phasers because they're not like physically adept. And then starship recognition because my idea is that she wants to have like a Federation space-wide business. So she's like traveling around trying to get to know her potential new customers and like what they want to buy. So she also in that sense like knows all the starships.
Okay.
So maybe that.
Yeah, so you could just say like general starship knowledge, general starship knowledge.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, that should be very helpful. Okay, so let's move on now to Matthew's Bullion. Do you have a talent in mind, sir?
I think I'm going to go with bold engineering.
Ooh.
Which allows me, whenever I attempt a task with engineering, you can buy one or more d20s by adding to threat. And you buy one or more d20s by adding to threat. You may re-roll a single d20.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so to explain threat, so momentum is like when you super succeed at a task, you get more successes than you need. You earn momentum. And then you can trade those in for additional dice to roll to try to get a success. If you really feel like you need a success, it's a difficult task, you don't feel like you have enough dice, you can buy them from me in exchange for threat. So threat are momentum for game masters. And then I rack up threat, and then I can use that to make the game more difficult for you guys by doing different things. Like I can environmental threats or boosting an NPC or whatever. So that's always an option. So whenever you buy a DC by giving me threat, you can re-roll a d20. Okay, so that's great. That's great. And do you have a focus in mind at this point?
I figured warp core theory.
Warp core theory. Okay, that is very good. A lot of ships these days have warp cores on them, so that can come in handy. Okay. And Fred Rutherford, have you chosen a talent?
Yeah, I am going to choose Studious, which is a general talent, and it says whenever you spend one or more momentum to obtain information, you may ask one additional question.
Oh. Okay, yeah, that's very good. So, yeah, you can also, when you earn momentum, you can trade one in to ask me a question, and I have to be truthful, but I can be a little evasive. So you can get 2 questions for 1. So that's
yeah. It's he spent a lot of time listening to his parents and taking in what they have to say, and one value that he pulled away from that is that, you know, with the right encouragement, people will always do the right thing. That's my value. I truly believe with the right information and the right encouragement, everybody inside is truly a good person.
Wow. You really were born in the wrong century. You lucked out.
You really did that.
I've never been happier than when I woke up from that.
You're so
popsicle.
lucky.
Also, you sound like the most enlightened theater director I've ever met.
Well, we're in childhood here. We'll see how it ends up, I suppose.
Yeah. This truly is science fiction if a theater director ends up becoming useful at all in anything. So this is great. This is awesome.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, team. I am the ship's counselor.
Okay, so for focus, do you have a focus in mind?
Well, that is my focus.
Is your focus?
With the right encourage, people will do the right.
Oh no, that's a value. That would be a value.
Oh, that's a value. Oh, the focus. Oh, of course, the focus. Yeah, I've got a focus. Sure. The preferred way of applying their skills. I'm gonna say aphorisms. I like to do little examples, and I like to use metaphor, simile. You know.
Okay.
What did you study at Starfleet Academy? Aphorisms.
Yeah, I mean, well, no, it'd be psychology. I'm sorry, psychology, right?
Okay,
I'm having a little trouble with focus.
Aphorisms is a little too narrow of a focus.
Psychology. I use that. It's a means to an end. Yeah.
Okay.
Aphorisms.
Sorry,
Psychology.
I didn't mean to shade you so hard. It was just a funny
No,
thing
it's
I'd
fine.
never
I was
heard.
having a little trouble understanding what focus meant in this context, and I guess it means the focus of my studies. So how about psychology?
Okay, all right, that is phenomenal. Okay, so let's move on to Alicia. Sorry, do you remember which discipline you picked for your last thing out of the 6?
Let me go back. Should I hit the back button or is that going to erase everything?
It'll erase everything. It doesn't matter. It
Okay.
doesn't matter. All right, so we'll just pick one. Okay, so I'll just pick one. All right, so now we go to Starfleet Academy for you. So click on that.
Yes.
All right. So why don't you read this text here on the screen?
Okay. The years spent at Starfleet Academy are some of the most memorable and definitive of an officer's life, shaping the direction of their career going forwards. For those who pass the grueling entrance examinations, the Academy takes 4 years, covering a mixture of intense training, academic studies, and practical experiences. Much of this takes place within the main Starfleet Academy campus in San Francisco on Earth, but other campuses and annexes exist across the Federation, and a cadet may spend time at any of these before they graduate. Alternatively, you may opt for an enlisted character. This is, however, purely background and does not affect you in more ways than the fact that you never went to Starfleet Academy and cannot select command as your major. Either select or roll your Academy track.
Okay. So do you want to be an officer or do you want to be enlisted?
Oh. Roll officer. Let me see. Select officer.
And yeah, you can select a track or you can roll for one at random.
I think I feel like pulling a cape and rolling for it.
Okay.
Yeah, do it.
All right. Very brave. So there's
Yeah.
3. You can do command track, operations track, or sciences track. So let's see what you end up with.
Let's see.
It's thrilling.
Go
Get addicted to it.
What the heck? Oh, it put me on operations track. The operations track is practical and hands-on, dealing with many of the realities of Starfleet's mission, divided broadly into engineering and security. Operations track cadets are defined by a sense of pragmatism, whether that applies to the technical or the tactical.
Okay. I hope you look good in yellow because you'll be wearing a yellow shirt from now on.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so you can select 3 of your attributes to boost by 1.
Okay, presence is what?
Presence is like charisma.
Oh, presence.
Yeah.
Presence is 1. Daring is 1. Get that
Great.
daring up there. Actually, can I do 2 in daring and 1 in presence?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Okay.
'Cause I really want to make her kind of like that.
Oh, perfect.
And then major engineering.
And you're majoring in engineering. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. And you can select 2 other disciplines to boost by 1.
It's going to be command and con.
Command and conquer. Okay. Okay, and then now you select 3 more focuses for your character out of everything that you can learn at Starfleet Academy.
Okay, let's do astronavigation, like we said.
Okay.
Let's do.
Well, you have that one already. You've got that one already.
There's 3
These are
different
3
ones?
new ones, yeah.
Let's do transporters and replicators.
Ooh, okay. Oh, man.
Okay.
I don't know if this team is going to make any sense at all, but this is going to be great.
I know. Let's also do interrogation. So that's like if we get an enemy on board,
Yeah.
I can pull like a special victims unit on him or something. Okay.
Awesome. That's good.
I'll be like, meet me in my ready room. You don't have one. Well, find me one. And then
Listen to my
Last-
command. I'm very commanding.
last, let's do warp field dynamics. Because it
Warp
makes me
field-
feel like I'm very Tom Paris.
Wow. Yeah. Very, very Tom Paris. Okay. Awesome.
Okay.
And you have 1 more talent, so look at those, and we'll come back to you.
Okay.
Okay, so Kate. All right. So are you gonna? Do you want to be an officer or do you want to be enlisted?
I feel like it makes sense if they're enlisted. I don't like them going to the academy. Even though you can select command as your major, and I've put all this like effort into command, it just doesn't make sense to me to not do enlisted.
Okay, so you're just a crewman. You're going to be a crewman on board this vessel. And do you want to roll or do you want to select? your track?
Roll.
Okay, go ahead and roll. Command operations and sciences.
Command track.
Okay. It's meant to be.
Oh yeah, it's for cadets who aspire to command their own starship one day.
Yeah.
Cute.
Okay.
Leadership and interpersonal skills. Cool.
You know, and you could still be, you might not have gone to Starfleet Academy, but I think you could still earn a captaincy otherwise. Maybe. That might not be true, but we can make it true. We can make it so. So, all right. So you have 3 points to invest in attributes. Where would you like to put them?
Presence and I feel like insight.
Okay.
And maybe reason. I haven't put anything in that yet. But I feel like reason would be useful.
Okay. Yeah, reason is probably useful for everybody, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to do those.
All right. And I guess you can only major in the con, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And you can pick 2 other disciplines.
2 other disciplines. I think I'm going to do command and science.
Okay, command and science. Beautiful. Okay. Yeah, so your command is 4 now, which is pretty high.
I don't know.
It's quite high for this game. So you're really, if you're not the captain, you might get drafted. Okay, so now you have to pick 3 more focuses for your character. Do you have any ideas for that?
Oh, wow.
And there's some suggestions there under the fields, too.
Let's see. I like persuasion. I like, composure, astronavigation, small craft, team dynamics. Team dynamics, yes.
Team dynamics, okay.
Well, for when I run my business and have a bunch of employees.
Sure.
And then I persuade them to take less pay. Persuasion. And then I feel like I want like a wild card for the last one. Not sure though. Maybe small craft?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Small craft.
Small craft.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Okay. And take a look at those talents and pick one of those. Mm-hmm. Okay, Matthew. Officer or enlisted?
I think I'm going to go with officer.
Okay.
And operations track because I want to be an engineer.
Okay, awesome.
And also I just want to wear yellow.
I think the yellow and blue is a nice combination.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very University of Michigan.
Yes. It's gold.
Okay.
That's maize, Skid.
Oh, that's right. Maize and blue. Sorry. Okay, so 3 points to invest in attributes.
All right. I was just looking. I was looking at the core rulebook here, and I was like, it's a role-playing game. I should pick the attribute that corresponds to my career so I can do stuff. But then I was reading about, this is really cool. Like, so they, under each discipline, they have how you could use each attribute for that discipline, right? So like, even though if I want to be I was like, oh, engineering is probably going to be like, the reason and maybe control, but they have a thing of why fitness could be useful for engineering and why daring could be useful for engineering. I think that's just really awesome.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of this is going to be negotiation because it's going to be you making your case for why maybe you should use a certain attribute or discipline rather than another to make a certain role. So There's a lot of flexibility in the system. It's really cool. So yeah, that's great.
I'm going to boost reason.
Okay.
And then I'll boost daring.
Okay.
And I'll boost control.
And control. Okay. All right. Very nice. All right. So now you can pick a major out of engineering and security. And you pick engineering.
I'll pick engineering.
Okay. Oh wow. So your engineering should be 5 now, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's very high.
Okay.
And then you can pick 2 other disciplines.
I will pick science.
Okay.
And I'll do command, right? Because I still gotta help people. You still gotta run a team.
Sure.
I hope so.
Yeah. You need a vice president.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. Okay, so now you should have 2 command and 2 science. Is that right?
2 command, 2 science. Yeah.
Okay. All right, and 3 focuses.
Okay. So my suggestions here. Well, I'll do electroplasma power systems.
Okay.
What the heck?
That sounds
I
fun.
was gonna suggest that. Yeah.
I'll do transporters and replicators too. I think,
Okay.
Alicia, you already did that, but it can't hurt to have backup. And then I'm going to do advanced theoretical physics, which is not a suggestion, but feels like it might come in
I
handy.
love it.
Yeah, that could definitely come in handy. That's excellent. Okay. And great. Now take a look at those talents. And Fred.
Yeah.
Okay. So, officer or enlisted?
I'm gonna do officer. They're the
Okay.
ones who saved me, and I'll join them.
Yeah. Which track?
I'm gonna take science would be the track because that's medical is nested in there.
Yeah, that's
mental
the
health
ship's
is nested
counselors.
in there.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So yeah. So my attributes, I was thinking I'm gonna go with 2 in insight and 1 in presence.
2 in insight, 1 in presence. Okay, very nice. Okay, so now you have 11 in insight and 10 in presence. Is that right?
Yeah, it's I have 10 in insight and 11 in presence according to what I
Okay,
just
I
wrote here.
probably messed up somewhere, but that's awesome. That's very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then your major is either
Medicine.
medicine. Okay, great.
Medicine, yeah.
Great. And 2 other disciplines.
I think I want to do science, and we'll do command again.
And command again. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So many commanding presences here on the ship.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe there'll be a power struggle in our future. I don't know.
Yes. I love the drama.
So much drama in coming up. Okay, so 3 focuses.
Yeah, I thought one of my focuses might be the planet Earth. Can that be a focus?
Sure. Earth lore?
Yeah, Earth lore. Okay. Sure. Then I was thinking interrogation as well, of course.
Good. Sure.
Gotta get a team effort there. And then the last one I was thinking was xenobiology. They got so
Ooh.
many funny aliens in the future, and the first thing I did was make a study of every single one. They all work differently, both mentally and physically.
Okay.
So xenobiology is sort of a trivia thing for me, but I've developed some expertise.
This is such a weird group. I love this. This is so
We're gonna lean into these
liberal
characters
arts.
too.
Wait, and just to review, we have a half Romulan Starfleet officer, the first Ferengi in Starfleet, a Bolian engineer, and a human from 1993.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna break the game.
This is the show. This is the next Star Trek
This is the show, that's right.
This is what it's going to be.
It's amazing.
So lastly is a talent, right?
Yes, so look at those talents. Do you have one in mind?
Yeah, I do. I want to do quick study, which is when attempting a task that will involve an unfamiliar medical procedure, or which is to treat an unfamiliar species, ignore any difficulty increase stemming from your unfamiliarity because of the trivia.
That's phenomenal. That's great. Okay, that really works out well. All right, Alicia, do you have a talent in
Yes.
mind?
I did, but I don't know where it went. Hold on.
Okay.
What's going on here?
There's a lot.
I think. Okay, I'm thinking about myself piloting Starship, and I'm thinking I'm going to want a talent that is at the con here. So
Okay.
I'm going to go with bold con. Whenever you attempt a task with con, and you buy 1 or more d20s by adding to threat, you may re-roll a single. Or do I want inertia when the character sees that a maneuver task?
It's a tough one.
You know what? There's one that says I know my ship. And it means whenever you attempt a task to determine the source of a technical problem with your ship, add 1 bonus d20. I'm going to go with that because she's definitely going to have that personality type.
Okay, yeah. So you.
You're asking me?
Okay.
Don't mansplain this to me.
I know my ship. You don't tell me anything.
Yes.
Okay.
Go with that one.
Okay, that's great. Okay, and now you get another additional value. Do you have another value in mind?
Value is what's important to her.
Yeah.
Even though she hates everybody, if she is going to feel something about anyone, it's going to be the people on her ship. Like, they're her family. She will protect them, even though half the time she does want to kill them. So it's sort of this weird, internal struggle.
Okay. So why don't we call that my crew is my family?
Yay!
Okay, I like that a lot.
Okay.
This is great. Okay, and Kate, do you have a talent?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with diffuse the tension. So whenever I attempt a task to persuade someone to not resort to violence, I can add a bonus d20 to my dice pool.
Oh, okay. I like that. That's very good. And value. Do you have a value?
I didn't see this at the bottom, so I've just been sitting here just letting my brain just relax. I don't know. I feel like I want to have something that doesn't pertain so much to business, because I feel like I'm hyper-focusing on a couple things, and I want to maybe have some Easter eggs. But I'm not sure.
Well, let's think about, so you didn't go to Starfleet Academy.
No.
You were raised on board a ship, so that you basically entered Starfleet on the strength of your experience just being around other Starfleet personnel. So what was that like? What was that like for you? What led to the decision to want to actually join Starfleet, and what kind of value do you think that might have instilled? Like at that
Maybe
point in
it's
life?
something like behaving outside the box, like dreaming big type of thing.
Okay. Yeah, so you're coming at Starfleet from a different angle than the more rigid thinking of people that have been through the academy. So let's call it outside the box. That's great. I like that.
It's also weird because she's a Ferengi, right? So there's going to be a lot of where she has to sort of prove herself almost.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, in my mind, sort of.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you might have run into a lot of that might have caused problems for you too. Just being the only Ferengi in Starfleet at this point, that had to lead to some problems too. But yeah, you think about problems differently. Since you are the only one of your kind that's here, you'd think about things a little differently than they do, so that's perfect.
I'm filling the niche.
I like it. I like the niche. Okay, so Matthew, do you have a talent?
I'm going to choose experimental device, rank 1.
Okay.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna say as a Bolian, he can, he likes to eat, and he has a wide range of tastes that maybe other people might find less than delicious. So he's had to really tinker with the replicators, and in doing so, he's enhanced the replicators. I don't know, he can make stuff in the replicators. He, like, as a happy accident, he found out how to replicate something slightly more complex than you can normally make in a replicator.
Okay.
Does that feel fair or not?
Yeah,
not
sure.
overpowered?
Okay, yeah. So you've spent a lot of time. Is that jury rig?
No, it's above that. It's an experimental device.
Okay. All right. I don't see it. Okay. So experimental device. All right. I'll just mark jury rig. Okay, that's awesome. And do you have a value in mind?
I thought maybe I can fix this! Exclamation point.
Okay. I can fix this. All right. So how does that manifest?
I think he like, if something breaks or goes wrong, and he's like, oh, he gets very excited by the problem. He's like, oh, I can do it! I can fix this! I know how to do this! And he likes to get in and tinker.
Okay. Awesome. I love it. Okay, Fred, what is your talent?
Well, my talent, I think we said, was quick study.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I jumped
Okay,
ahead on that, but I hadn't thought about my value, but I think I've got one, which is all this time in this new future, the value is that the future is perfect. Everything's fixed.
Nobody's poor. Everybody's happy. So I have bought into the great bird of the galaxy, Gene Roddenberry's vision, 100%. And this is like to the point of a fault, right? Like where I hold it to an unrealistically high standard.
Yeah.
And so that's like a matter of faith. I'm not religious, because that's another thing they got rid of. It's great in the future. But I have as a matter of faith that the future and the Federation and the humanity is perfect.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's a great value. So it's like a recent immigrant becomes way more patriotic than like someone who's been there for a while.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's very Pollyanna, you know, like
I love that.
I love that too. That's amazing. Okay, so let's move on to Alicia's character, the Romulan.
Yay. Yes.
Okay, so let's go to career. So you can. Okay, so you're a young officer, fresh out of the academy. You've got your whole career ahead of you. You've been in Starfleet for a few years. Oh, so you can decide if you've been in Starfleet for several years or if you've just graduated.
She's a young officer.
Young officer.
She's headstrong. She's like full of like sort of piss and vinegar. I know what I'm doing. I studied it in school.
Great. Okay. And this is cool. So as a young officer, you get the talent Untapped Potential, which is it gives you kind of random bonuses based on your kind of luck or what your emerging skills might be. So I can't remember exactly how it works, but I'll look that up. Okay, so you're a young officer. You're defined by your potential more than your skill. And you have a new value to pick. Do you have a new value in mind?
Just that, her father, I think, is going to be he was decorated before he and her mother like disappeared somewhere in another quadrant. So she has a name to live up to.
Ah, okay.
She's going to be very much like, yeah.
Okay, so living up to the legend. We'll call it that.
Yes. That's a good one. Okay.
Okay, that's very good. Okay. All right. So, Kate, let's go to career for you. Do you want to select or roll?
I'm selecting this one because I feel like veteran wouldn't make sense.
Okay.
I could see young or experienced.
Okay.
And I kind of want to lean towards experienced.
Well, I kind of like the thought of you and Alicia's character knowing each other growing up.
Or that, yeah.
So, but that could be like you could have been like a big brother figure, or big sister, like big sibling. You could be like a big sibling to them.
Big Ferengi figure.
Yeah. So, but that's up to you guys. But like that's an option if you want to do that.
Okay, I'm gonna go young officer.
Young officer. Okay, so you guys
Untapped
are the same age
potential.
growing up.
Yeah.
Well, how do we age the same? Do Romulans and Ferengis age the same? I wonder.
Eric?
Romulans probably age more like like Vulcans, which would make them a very long-lived race. Whereas I think Ferengi probably have a lifespan more like a humans.
Yeah,
but I don't know
shorter.
off the top of
I think
my
it's
head.
probably even
maybe
shorter.
even short. I mean, a lot of things are shorter when it comes to Ferengi.
That's true. Yeah, but I think you guys might have been at the same kind of emotional development.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, according to Memory Alpha, the lifespan of a Ferengi, they can live up to 300 years.
Oh,
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
shoot.
Got plenty of time.
Awesome.
I got Memory Alpha again.
So that's great. So you guys are young punks of maybe 80 together growing up. All right. Do you have another value in mind?
So this value is supposed to reflect my inexperience and naivete in some way. So I was thinking maybe like they see opportunity everywhere, like untapped potential in other places, like something like that.
Okay. Why don't we call that opportunity knocks?
Okay.
It's
You're
good.
always looking for opportunity. What?
These value names you're like rolling with off the fly are amazing. Like
Yeah.
it seems like you're always there for the putback. It's
Yeah, the Jokic like little tip in. Okay, so let's see, Mr. Bolian, Mr. Matthew.
I think his name, by the way, is going to be Arf.
ARF.
ARFF. Double consonants, very important, apparently.
I love it. Very fantasy.
I'm going to roll for my career.
Okay. All right. Let's see what you get.
I got experienced officer.
Oh.
This character has several years of experience in the service of Starfleet and is enjoying a promising career.
Okay. Experienced officer. All right. So you've been around a little bit longer than the two kids. Okay. And do you have a value in mind?
Since he's an experienced officer, I wonder if we could come up with something that's like he's seen this before, like he can, even if he hasn't seen it before, he can maintain his cool, and he's like, oh yes, this, and he can use that to like inspire the team.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's good. So we'll call it seen it once, seen it a million times.
Amazing.
Okay.
I love these.
So, and then look, there's more talents to look at also after that. So go ahead and check that out. Fred, what is your career going to be?
I think I want to do young officer.
Wow.
Not that he's young himself. He's 57 years old, but he doesn't look a day over 61. You know, he's got like that 70s, 80s character actor guest star look that's kind of ugly and run down that you don't see on television as much anymore.
Yeah.
But
TV ugly.
Yeah. And that's Fred. So he's been in the academy now for more like 7 years because he had a lot of unlearning to do as well as some new learning. So it's pretty new in his career. Not his first time in space, but new in his career.
Okay, cool. And so you also get untapped potential. So that everybody except Matthew gets a talent to pick. The rest of you have this untapped potential trait that will give you little bonuses. What about a new value for you?
I think this is an interesting one. His new value is so remember how I said he believes in everything, the future's perfect, everything's great?
Yeah.
He's seen some things that don't 100% live up to that, and right now it's just causing cognitive dissonance. And so I would say his value is secret nihilism. He is secretly got creeping nihilism coming in.
Creeping nihilist, I like that.
Yeah, creeping nihilism. Yeah.
Creeping nihilism.
Yeah, but
You wouldn't know it from talking to him.
Yeah. It's just
It's
starting.
taking root.
That's the thing. You know, because I was thinking about this the other day watching Voyager, is that these kids, basically coming out of Starfleet Academy, they're really kind of naive.
Yeah.
Because the future is kind of perfect, and where they are, like, that's all they really experience. But when they get out into the void and they see some of this really, like, messed up stuff, how does that affect them? So you might just be experiencing the first stages of that.
Well, at least in my time in the academy, I was experiencing the first stages of it. We've got future steps in character creation here, too, Skid.
Oh, right. Okay.
You never know how events might continue to shape things.
That's true. Okay. Okay, so Alicia, let's pick your first career event. Do you want to select or roll?
I think I want to select just because I like looking at the different options.
Sure.
So let's select. Oh gosh, there's a lot.
Oh, there's a lot of them. Sorry.
So this would be like something that happened before the game starts, or this is going to happen in the game.
Yeah, this is actually, if anybody knows the Traveler RPG, it's a sci-fi RPG. It's famous for having a character creation system that's a lot like this, where you play out a lot of your early life through die rolls and stuff like this. And it's actually possible, famously, to die during character creation in Traveler. That's not true here. But yeah, there's something good or bad like might have happened to you as you first got out of the academy when you first started to serve. So there's a bunch of choices here.
So many.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and these would have shaped how she reacts on the ship, how she decides, and there's many. There's like, your ship was destroyed, death of a friend, negotiate a treaty, you're required to take command, serious injury, conflict with a hostile culture, mentored, transporter accident.
Transporter accident?
No. Called out a superior. How about this? Ooh, I like this. Breakthrough or invention.
Oh, breakthrough or invention. Okay.
Yeah.
You want to take that
Yes.
one? Okay.
I'll take that one.
All right. So you made an important technological discovery, devised a new way of using a particular technology, or invented some new technology that will be invaluable in the future. What was it?
What was it? Oh, God.
What was it?
Well, okay, she discovered she discovered trilithium. She did. She found it, and she found out ways to use trilithium in order to... Oh, you know what? No, this is what she did. Skip, are you frozen or blurry? You know, you're back.
Oh, I'm back. Sorry.
She has a major issue with the fact that replicators are replicators. So maybe she figured out you can use trilithium to like actually create fresh food sometimes as well, and not just recycling the garbage.
Okay. Interesting.
Maybe.
Okay.
ARF doesn't mind the garbage.
And garbage is a best case scenario.
Yes. Yes. I mean, this may change a little bit as we move on, but that's the first thing I think of.
Okay. So your character figured out a way to take other random matter and turn it into food rather than just old food.
Yes.
Okay.
Everything, like laundry, everything, food, everything.
Okay, so you're able to reconfigure how replicators work. Okay. That is a huge accomplishment.
That's a big deal.
That's a huge That's awesome.
This is the thing. It doesn't really go with my character creation, but it's something that definitely bothered her. Maybe when she first got on a starship, it's something that bothered her.
Okay, that's good.
Maybe.
We'll keep thinking about it. If you could think of something
Okay.
more specific or that you like, go ahead. But okay, so I think you have one more point.
Oh, I do. I have quite a few actually, right?
Yeah. You have one more
No,
point
one.
to invest in one of your attributes. What do you want to invest in?
See, I could keep stacking that daring like crazy. I should just keep doing. You know what? Let's stack the daring because that's who she is. I'm just gonna lean in to who she is.
The bold Romulan.
Yes.
Okay, and then you have one
She
more. You have
wants
another
to be-
focus. You have another focus
Yes.
to pick.
Oh, reflecting the character's environment. Examples include experimental, technology, invention. Improvisation is like she comes up with things that are just outlandish and they work or they don't.
Yeah.
That is so me.
Actually,
I'm
yeah,
gonna do
that's kind of cool because it kind of vibes with what Kate's character is doing, being that you two grew up together, these two outsiders, that you would have the other like kind of alternate means of getting to a solution to a problem, that you would both kind of develop a similar trait. So that's great. That's cool.
Okay, so I'll do improvisation then.
Okay.
Yeah? It's like invention, improvisation sort of thing. Yeah, because it actually vibes with her total personality in that she likes new things and finding new places and discovering new things. Like she's not going to be scared to hold a weird bug on a planet or something. I tend to play characters that are nothing like me because if there's a bug anywhere, I'm not going there.
Yeah, I'm the
She,
same
on the
way.
other hand,
I'll avoid
she-
entire continents just for fear of a bug. So I'm right there with you.
Australia, I love you, but no.
I know. I really want to go to Australia, except for all the giant spiders and stuff. That's no way.
Okay.
Okay. So
That's
Kate, let us go to your career event. Do you want to roll or select?
I opened it because I wanted to see, and there's a ton. So I'm gonna choose learns unique language because I do have that little dip in science.
Oh,
And this
okay.
is kind of a science event, I guess.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think of like what's some. It says unique language, so I'm like, does that mean obscure, kind of?
It can be, or it could. I think it can be. It can be anything. It can be Vulcan. It can be Klingon, or it could just be some minor species or something.
Because I was also thinking like since I'm friends with a Romulan/Vulcan, maybe one of those two languages.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's good. Yeah.
So
Or
which
so
language? Romulan, you think that's the one that they would know more?
Well, Alicia, what do you think your character would have grown up speaking more?
Romulan.
Okay,
Okay.
then I know
Definitely
Romulan.
Romulan. She identifies with her dad. Her dad was a badass, you know?
Yeah.
So her mom was a badass too, but her mom was more of a, she was more cerebral, whereas her dad was kind of a cerebral beast and he was like a general. So she was really her father's daughter.
Oh, that's cool. Wow, so that must have been a big deal when he defected.
Yeah.
Was he Tal Shiar? Was he in the Tal Shiar?
Is he still Tal Shiar?
Oh, is he still Tal Shiar? Oh, think about that.
That's it. That's a really good idea, actually.
That is
Yeah,
good.
they're the badasses.
Oh, wow.
They're the badasses.
Okay, cool.
Wait a minute. You have to come back to me when you circle back because I think I may have sort of configured her invention. Even though I do like the replicator idea, I think it's something that could fit better. But go ahead. I'll come back.
Okay, cool. Okay, so Kate, a new focus for your character.
Let's see. So this has to reflect on what the character learned from the event. So the examples I have are linguistics, cultural studies, or negotiations. And from those examples, I would lean towards negotiations.
Negotiations. That's great. And that certainly dovetails nicely with your aim of getting rich through Starfleet.
Yes. I have to get my suppliers. So.
Just racking them up. I can see you just like selling contraband or like running a black market on board a Galaxy-class starship or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go for Arf. What is Arf's talent? Oh wait, did we do that?
No, I got an extra one, and I chose jury rig.
Oh, you did get jury rig. Okay.
I chose jury rig. I figured that might be fun.
Okay.
Okay, and then I think I'm gonna roll for this career event if that's okay, just to see.
Sure.
What happens.
Yeah.
It is addiction, Kate. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, I got death of a friend.
Oh, death of a friend.
During an important mission, one of the character's friends was killed in action. Who was that friend? How did the character know them? What was the mission? How did the friend die? Who was to blame?
Good
I mean, maybe
questions.
we were sent to. We discovered, a starship adrift, and we were part of the away team that was sent over to see if we could stabilize the ship and repair it. And I thought I was all cocky, and I thought I could, restore the ship instead we just that way we wouldn't have to scrap it. And actually, I made a fatal error in my repairs, and my friend was piloting it behind the ship, and it exploded.
And you killed your friend.
No.
Oh, you killed your friend, your poor friend. What was your friend's name?
His name was
Danny?
Danny. Danny, but he spelled it
A-N-I.
Daenni.
Okay.
Because he was from Orion. There we go.
Oh, he's a riot. Okay. All right. And it doesn't matter. He's dead. All right.
On the plus side, I get a bonus to insight.
That's very good. Yeah. You learn a lot about yourself killing a friend.
We went through the academy together, and then now I know more about people.
Okay.
He's dead.
That's right. You learn a lot about what's inside someone when you see their insides after they blow up. Okay, so now you get another new focus. What would your focus be, and how would it relate to what happened?
I mean, maybe maybe it was. I'm trying to think of like what system. Maybe it was a flaw in the impulse engines, and I've rededicated myself to impulse engine design.
Okay, great. So impulse drives will be your specialty. That's great. Really cool. All right, what about Fred?
All right. I've taken a look at this, and I think I found a pretty fun one.
Okay.
And it is encounter with a truly alien being.
Ooh.
Oh, that's perfect.
So here's what I'm thinking. 3 years ago, Fred Rutherford was assigned as part of a cadet field operation on the USS Covington with a total of 3 ships patrolling in the wake of this giant alien creature called the crystalline entity.
Oh, what?
Yeah. And the crystalline entity would just destroy whole colonies and things. And his job as a psychology student was to help with the comforting of displaced colonists as they were rescued by Starfleet and relocated to other colonies. And two things happened as a result of that. One, there was a chance encounter with the crystalline entity itself, which wiped out two of the other ships, leaving only his ship there. And so he got an appreciation for just like an idiot god, sort of other super powerful cosmic entity that just everything could be erased in just a moment. And that was important. And then two, he got to deal with the fact that some of these colonists were being recolonized in places that they didn't want to go to or that didn't match. And so as a focus from this, he developed a strong sense of empathy for people.
Okay.
But as kind of in his background, here again is an example of, yes, the Federation's doing the right thing by rescuing these people, but then just tucking them wherever bureaucracy said made sense, regardless of their wishes, is kind of a sign that, again, that whole, the future is perfect, cognitive dissonance, creeping nihilism, all of this goes together.
Yeah,
so,
that's great. So that's introducing some conflict in your values already. So that's great.
Exactly right. So that's going to give me a bonus to reason, a bonus to science, and then my focus is empathy.
Great. And did you meet Data or Lore?
No, different planet, right? This entity messes up a whole bunch of different. It's not the Data planet. It's
Okay.
to get really nerdy, and here's where Memory Alpha works for me. It's the year that this happened is the year that the Next Generation crew later destroyed the crystalline entity, but this was just a step in the path.
Yeah, this is season 7 of Next Generation, the last season. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, there you go. Crystalline entity. Never
Interesting.
seen such a thing.
Yeah. Okay. Alicia, what's your character's name again?
I think I'm going to go with Sutaka. I don't know why that name just came to mind. I
good
figure
name.
that's her name, Sutaka.
Excellent.
Sutaka.
Yeah, that's a
Yes.
very
It's
Romulan
good.
name.
I really
Very
like it.
guttural.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, Sutaka. Senator Sutaka. I like it.
Yes, Sutaka.
Okay, so do you want to select or roll your next career event?
Next career event. Oh, another career event. Oh boy. Let's see. Why don't I select one?
Okay.
Make it easy on myself. Let's do. Dang it. Let's do. She had to require to take command.
Oh, interesting.
Oh.
Okay. So what was that
It could
story?
be-
What happened there?
Yeah, it could be where she was on like a training mission and they were far out, maybe on the Alpha and Beta quadrant like line, maybe just on a training mission for her while she was in Starfleet. And this ship was they got hailed by something that was distressed. And it ended up being like a cloaked enemy ship, or maybe it was a cloaked Klingon ship, because Klingons have cloaking, right? They're Klingon because they have cloaking because of us.
All right.
That's right.
Yeah.
They're cloaking, and maybe they attacked the ship, even though it was the training ship, and the training captain was thrown, and she had to take over, and that was the first time in her life where she realized that everything she learned in Starfleet she had to put into action, and she was like, I'm ready, I've been waiting for this my whole life. And she steps up and she's able to maneuver the ship back, and that's why I think she gets into Han so much, because she was able to get away from the ship.
Okay.
The enemy
That's
ship.
awesome. And that gives you another bonus to your daring. What's your daring at right now? There you go. Very daring.
Yes, my daring is high.
Very high. And you get you get a bonus to command. And then what is your new focus?
Okay, the focus is going to be, it's going to be composure, because when that happened, she just thought she was in a routine training thing for school. But when that happened, she realized I've got to be able to control myself, and I have to be ready to take command if something like this ever happens. So composure.
Composure. I like it.
Yeah, you know what? She surprised the F out of herself.
Yeah, I think that seems like a theme is that she's trying to, a lot of her life has been trying to keep her emotions in check.
Yes.
Which actually, you know, you've always grown up idolizing your father, but that sounds like trying to emulate your mother, who's a Vulcan.
Right?
So
My
that's
mother was
interesting.
very much, even though she was on the pole, she was very
Right.
much first.
That's right. That's great. Still many opportunities in the future for all people.
He's just an unemotional pole dancer. It's great.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of experience that would be for a Vulcan. Anyways.
Vulcan.
Kick, fall back.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so let's. Sorry, Kate. What's your character's name?
Meba.
Meba. Okay.
Great
Let's
name.
do. That is an awesome Ferengi name. Okay, so next career event for Meba. Do you want to roll again?
I'm rolling.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Betrayed ideals for a superior. So I was placed in a situation where I had to choose between a trusted superior and their own ideals, or choose to follow the superior.
Okay.
That sentence doesn't make sense, but I'm not going to read it again. Who was the superior? Who was the superior? What did they ask the character to do? How does the character feel now? What are the repercussions? Details of this, are they on record? Was the character right? Let's see. What could have possibly happened? A superior asks me to do something, and I go against my gut instinct.
Yeah. So what are your values now, or what would your values have been at this point that they would have asked you to betray them?
I feel like maybe I should tap into my naive value that had to do with, like, there's opportunity everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, maybe that's why I don't trust that one, and maybe I listen to my superior. So maybe it was something like, oh, the superior said that's not worth it, don't do that, like, there's nothing there, and there was.
Okay, yeah, so you saw a path to an opportunity with your outside the box thinking. You thought there's an opportunity for something, some kind of breakthrough or advancement, something, and they told you to leave it alone, and you did.
Yeah.
And so you left an opportunity to go by. So you can think about that. You can think about what that opportunity might have been. But yeah, also, and think about how that affected you, whether your superior was right, whether you were ultimately. Mm-hmm. And who were they? This was a ship captain? Was this some?
Yeah, someone like a higher rank than me, where like I'm just like on the ship like a helper, I guess, and like you know, I have big ideas and no one wants to listen to me, and they're like, oh, I've seen this all before. There's nothing there. There's no opportunity, and there was, and I'm just like so torn up that I missed out on something.
Okay.
I'm never gonna miss out on anything again.
Yeah, as a Ferengi, that had to really destroy you inside.
Yeah, fear of FOMO is.
Okay, so you get another focus. What would your focus be this time?
So this, reflecting on the event and its aftermath, what focus would it be? I guess like something like investigation makes sense. Like I want to keep looking into things, and I insist on just double checking.
That I was looking at that. I thought that was perfect. That's phenomenal. That's great.
Nice. Putting it
Okay.
down.
And let's go back to ARF. Let's do your next career event. Are you rolling again, Matthew?
Yeah, let's roll.
Okay.
Oh, I wish there were a way to re-roll, because I also got encounter with a truly alien being.
Oh, that's
Hit
okay.
back.
I didn't know. You know, Skid said it'll erase everything.
Yeah, I think it
geez.
erases everything.
Yeah.
Okay,
can't
so
go back.
maybe ARF encountered like an incredibly advanced civilization in one of his missions, like one that was so technologically like beyond the Federation, and it's everything okay, Grant?
Everything's fine, Matthew. In fact, in struggling to try to recreate all of your character sheets, which fell
know, I'm
apart
so sorry,
almost
Grant.
immediately. If you click on the History tab and then click on Career Event 2 again, you will be able to re-roll, in fact. Unless you want to go with this.
Ooh, career event.
See, this is
2.
why you have this job.
This is why
Figuring out
yeah.
the tech stuff
Wow.
for us.
This is why the
Reroll.
engineering
Roll
bay is
career
the
event.
most
Here we go.
underappreciated part of the ship. Signing off.
I don't like that one either. Reroll.
Reroll.
That one doesn't make any sense. Reroll.
Okay. Why don't you just pick a career
I
event?
know.
Nice Seinfeld reference.
First contact.
Oh,
I was
okay.
involved in a first contact with another culture. And actually, I can use this, like the justification I was just coming up with can come up with too, is maybe this new species that he made into this new culture that he was involved in the first contact mission for had some sort of advanced technology that sent his mind spinning, and he was just like, it blew his mind open that it was like, oh right, there's always a new possibilities out there, and like there are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. And he was a young and headstrong new officer, and he learned to always be on the lookout for the new and the innovative and other ideas.
I love it. And think about the species, like flesh them out. Like name them. Like what are they like? Just when we're done with this, like you can figure out more.
I'll come up with a new species.
Flavor stuff.
I guess that would fit into the command discipline, right? That like
Yeah.
I've maxed out my engineering.
You've maxed out
Like,
engineering, yeah.
So like, yeah, it was like, oh right, he was young and cocky and believed he knew everything about the world, and then actually he realized the world is much more interesting than that, and now he's Picard after season 3.
Oh yes, okay, very good. Good analogy. Would you pick the aphorisms? No. Okay. Okay, so then you get another focus. What would your focus be?
Maybe I'll do like alien technology.
Yeah. Alien tech. Awesome. All right. And now, Fred, what is for your second and final career event? Do you want to select a role?
No, I think I'm going to select, and I'm kind of fixating right now on mentored.
Okay.
It says a highly respected officer took notice of the character's career. For a time, the character served as the officer's pilot and aide, gaining the benefit of the officer's experiences and lessons. Who was the officer? Does the officer remain a contact or even a friend of the character? So to just kind of modify that a little bit, I was thinking that my mentor would be Dr. Kurox, who is a Galamite psychologist. You may recall, you probably won't, but Galamites have a brain that is twice the size of humans and an invisible skull, so you could see right into their brain.
Oh.
And he was like both my character's main instructor in the psychology department of Starfleet Medical, and also kind of like his therapist. So as he would be studying, even after the initial first couple of classes, he would like tell Dr. Kurox what's going on. And the last time he saw Dr. Kurox, he explained his concern about the relocation of the colonists on the crystalline entity job. And the doctor also seemed really upset and said that he also had some important news to share with Fred Rutherford right after he returned from his next mission, and then he mysteriously vanished on that mission, never to be seen again. And so the value that Fred Rutherford came out of that is suspicion. He's very suspicious that something is going on the level of paranoia, like that somebody got to his mentor and he doesn't know who.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so then because of that, because you get a mentor, you have your choice of any of the attributes to get a +1 bonus to.
I think I'm going to go insight on this one.
Actually, you've maxed out insight, right?
Oh, no, not insight.
Yeah.
I did, yeah. I think I'm going to go... Well, that would max out insight. Insight maxes out at 11 for...
Yeah. Okay, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead and put an insight then.
Okay, cool. And then the disciplines, it's forcing me to take con, so fair enough. And then my focus is suspicion.
Suspicion. Okay. Great. All right. So we're in the final stages here. Okay. So
I have to say, this has been an exceptionally fun character creation.
It has.
This is pretty cool.
Oh, good. I hoped it would. I love the whole life path thing of it, just walking through someone's
too.
life, and it's very much like Traveler. It's really cool.
I like
And to
that
be
you-
clear, when you say Traveler, you mean the RPG, not the creepazoid who's trying to adopt Wesley Crusher.
Oh yeah, no,
Just wanted to make sure.
not the Traveler. No, just
Okay.
the game. Yes, thank you
Traveler
for
RPG. Okay, thank you. Well, I just want to make sure.
Well, I like that it breaks things up too. Like you can if you allow some random chance in there, you can get bonuses to attribute scores. So you don't do that beforehand. It's kind of built out of your character history. Like it's very cool.
I like,
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it's really great. This is something I was excited about from the beginning. Okay, so Alicia, so Sutaka, you have this is your final stage is here. So you have 1 attribute point to invest and 1 discipline to invest.
All right, let's look at something that, since my daring has maxed, my control is maxed, which is good because she needs it. Presence is charisma. Insight is really low. It's a 7. And insight is like insight, right? Basically, you're able to see to the core or the heart of a situation or a person or...
Yeah, more with people. It's more about the ability to kind of deduce someone's emotions or thought, like understand their emotional state or what they're thinking, that kind of thing.
It's definitely not her. She does not care. So we're going to go with presence for attributes.
Okay.
Romulans don't care about your feelings.
No. She's such an interesting mix of Romulan and Vulcan. It's really cool.
Yes.
Okay, so then you get 1 more discipline point to spend.
It's going to be command.
Awesome. Oh, so you're maxed out in engineering and command.
Yeah, and command, both.
Okay, that is great. All right, and for Meba, Kate, 1 more attribute point and 1 more discipline point.
So in mine, it says points for attributes 0. I don't think I have an attribute point to spend. But
yeah, maybe
pluses are there. So I don't know. Are you supposed to have a certain number when it's all totaled?
I think so, yeah. I would, if it lets you put 1 in, I would go ahead and put 1 in.
It lets me keep going.
Okay. Oh, does it really?
Yeah.
Oh, then don't do that.
I don't think I put another point in attributes because it says 0.0, but for disciplines it says 0.1. I get 1 point to put in a discipline.
Okay. Well, let's invest in your disciplines then. What would your discipline be?
I think I'm gonna take a dip in engineering.
Oh.
Command is maxed out. I've got 3 con, 3 science. I didn't think it made sense to max out science, but engineering would make a little sense because maybe they're trying to imagine new products to sell people and you have to maybe create those.
Yeah.
So just a little.
Makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, so Arf. Mr. Arf. Mr. Arf? Do you prefer Mr. Arf?
Well, his family name is Lexel.
Ah, okay. Arf Lexel.
Arf
Flexel.
Arf Lexel. Okay.
It says that I have 2 attribute points to spend.
Okay. I think that's because you're a veteran officer.
Oh, okay.
I think that's why you get those. You're getting those bonus points now,
right.
And that's why Kate, you didn't. So okay. So So go ahead and invest 2 points in attributes.
I'm gonna put 1 in reason.
Okay.
And I'll put 1 in control as well.
Perfect. And 2 disciplines.
All right, so I'm maxed out in engineering.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to put 1 in science.
Okay.
And I'll put 1 in command.
Perfect. And you get a final value.
Why don't we
veteran.
Adapt what we were talking about with in my last career event, where there are more things, the universe is a big place and there's a lot of interesting things in it.
Okay, there are more things in heaven and earth. Let's say that. Things in heaven and earth. Okay, perfect.
And I will attempt in the interim to translate that into the original Klingon.
Okay. For anyone who doesn't know, Matthew actually met the guy who invented the Klingon language. He came to one of Matthew's plays that he wrote.
He did.
What?
In DC.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really amazing.
Isn't that cool?
He knew the director, and the director invited him because it was a play about like a Jabba the Hutt size puppet, like the people inside the puppet. And I guess she thought he would be into it, so she invited him, and then we were all at the bar afterwards. And my dad was there weirdly because he like drove down to see it. And then she was like, "Come here, I want you to meet this guy." And she's like, "He invented Klingon." And then I talked to him for a little bit. And I was like, I was starstruck. And then I walked back over to my dad, and I was like, "Dad, you see that like that nerdy looking short guy over there?" I mean, he was very nice. He wasn't that nerdy looking. And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "He invented Klingon." And my dad was like, "No, he didn't." I've never seen my dad be so like obstinate about it. He was like, "That's not true." And I was like, "I wouldn't lie. Why'd I lie?"
Yeah, well, that's a weird lie to make up, Dad.
Yeah.
That's amazing, though.
That's really cool.
He was very nice, and he said very nice things about the play. So
that's insane bragging rights. Can you imagine like you're in the line at the bank or something, and someone starts with you, and you're like, "Excuse me, I invented Klingon. Stand over there."
Yeah. Do you know anyone who invented Klingon?
Do you even know who I am?
Right? That's huge.
All right, so let's go to Fred here. So
Yes.
let's go. Your finishing touches. So you have 2 attribute points to invest.
I do. Yeah.
And 2 disciplines.
I'm going to put 1 into control
Okay.
and 1 into daring.
Daring. Okay.
My disciplines, I'm going to put 1 into, let's go medicine.
Okay.
And then, I don't want to be totally hopeless when it comes to defending myself, so I'm going to put 1 in security.
Okay.
So that I can at least master the double-handed overhand chop, martial arts that they use. And I'm ready to fight a Gorn. Okay, so yeah. And then, we got a value in here as well, right?
Yes. Yes.
So I was thinking, early on, one of the first values that he had was with the right encouragement, people will always do the right thing. Mm-hmm. And so his final value is everything that has happened, including surviving for hundreds of years in the depths of space, has been the information, and now he is the man of the hour to make a difference. That all this has happened for some reason, and it's up to me. That's my value. It's up to me to make a difference. He isn't 100% sure what that difference is, but he's been put here. All of the information's in front of him. He's just got to put it all together and do the right thing.
Okay, great. Yeah, you could see how a guy would end up with almost a messiah complex. Just ending up in this kind of place. It's just like this is fate. Like this is meant to be.
Exactly.
Okay.
It had to have happened for some reason.
Had to be a reason for
It
this.
can't all be pointless like the crystalline entity. I gotta push back against the idiot gods.
Okay. All right. So let's go. Let's do Alicia. All right. So you get All right. So you get 2. Okay. So when you click proceed, I think you get 2 more attribute points and 2 more disciplines. Is that right?
I did. I'm gonna go. I went with I went up in reason.
Okay.
I added presence and reason. Those are the 2 I went with. And then for disciplines, I went up in security for the same reason that Fred did.
Good.
Because I want to be able to wharf someone if I need to.
Good.
Yar someone. And then also back into con.
And
again, so that,
okay, great.
Command, con, and engineering are really high for me, which is good.
Yeah.
And then,
you're a really good pilot. You're a good leader.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is great. And you get 1 final value. What would your value be?
Yeah, this character receives 1 final value. This might reflect the career events rolled in step 6, or it may represent some other element of the character. I'm going to go with that. This value is going to be something that she doesn't speak of because she doesn't want to appear like it's important to her. But when her father joined forces, with Starfleet, he was no longer really welcome in Romulan. They were sort of like, even though he's lauded in many other cultures, here it's sort of like she at some point wants to clear her father's name with Romulans. Like she wants to explain at some point she wants to go back there and be able to hold her head high because she's proud of who her dad is and she wants the Romulans to know that, even though it sounds ridiculous, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So restore the family honor. How about that?
Yes, that's good.
Okay. Great. Very Worf.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And then you're done, I think.
I am finished.
Oh, and then okay, so now just have to type in your name.
Okay.
And you have to pick your assignment. What role do you want to fill on the starship?
Let's see. Oh my God, there's select the role your character has in the starship they service. This choice will be based on your highest discipline. The most suitable choice will appear on top. So there's Fleet Liaison Officer, there's Strategic Operations Officer. Officer coordinates the movements and activities of vessels and forces in a given region. This Fleet Liaison represents the fleet and Starfleet as a whole. That's not really her. She's too young for a role like that.
Okay.
As a Fleet Liaison, I think she's too young for that, right?
Yeah. Well, no, she could be. That could be her job, but yeah.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Physician's assistant, that's funny, but not really her at all. Let's see. Moving the vessel and force. Let's do Strategic Operations Officer, because this officer coordinates the movements and activities of vessels and forces in a given region or on a particular mission. Typically offers with a keen understanding of strategy. They advise the admiral and adjust plans independently when they cannot consult the admiral. I like this.
Okay.
I like where this is going.
Okay, cool. And let's go ahead and make you a lieutenant junior grade. and yeah, you can export this as a PDF now. You're good to go.
Yay. Perfect.
Okay, Kate, you... All right, now you should have two more attribute points and 2 discipline, yeah.
Now I have those. So
Okay.
I put, what did I do? Oh, I maxed out control and I maxed out insight. And then for discipline, I put 1 more in engineering and then 1 in security because I feel like I need to be able to defend myself a little bit.
Everyone's dumping on
Maybe.
security. Everyone's dumps that.
Yeah. So
Everyone's trying to get...
I didn't really want that to be 1. It's kind of like, don't touch my ears.
Right.
Security.
The sex thing, though.
Yeah, that's...
They're very sensitive. Don't touch them.
What do they call that? They have a name for that.
I cannot ever
I
remember.
forgot.
Wikipedia open.
It's umlauts,
Yeah,
right?
I think that-
Yes. Umax.
Umax.
Umlauts.
And then my value, it was something, I was thinking like maybe I value autonomy, or maybe one of my values is like this conflict between like I have this friend and like a Romulan friend who like taught me language and like we're cool. But Ferengi kind of have this like culture of like never place friendship above, profit or business. So like I had struggled with that maybe.
Yeah. So, yeah, I like the thought of your experiences with Starfleet kind of stretching your horizons beyond what you may originally have gone in there with.
So like,
yeah, maybe, yeah. So do you think that she values friendship over profit now?
I think might find that out in gameplay. I don't know if I can make that choice right now.
Okay. Well, why don't we have that as let's say profit over friendship now, and if it comes up in gameplay, you can challenge that belief, and there's a mechanical system for that.
Ooh, I love that. That's
Okay.
amazing. Okay, doing it.
Profit over friendship. Okay, awesome. And all right, so now
my name.
pick an assignment on the ship.
So it pre-selected operations manager. Operations manager oversees all technical operations on the ship, normally on the bridge or in conjunction with the chief engineer. I'm not sure about that because it's like very techie and sciencey
Yeah.
sounding. Ship's counselor doesn't make sense. Science officer, communications officer. More common in the earlier days of Starfleet, dedicated communications officers are typically skilled in linguistics and cryptography, aided with advanced translation.
You do have that extra language.
Yeah. I feel like that would be fun.
Communication, sure.
Communications officer.
Awesome.
Unless
Okay.
someone else wanted to pick that, potentially.
Probably not.
Okay.
It does give you that opportunity to use the Uhura earpiece in one of your
Yeah.
giant Ferengi ears, which
Oh,
is
nice.
pretty exciting.
That'll be a good look. Okay, so now, so you are a you're non-enlisted, non-commissioned. You're a non-commissioned officer. So, what is you can pick your rank.
I've got petty, specialist, yeoman. Crewman. Yeoman. I feel like maybe petty or specialist.
Okay.
I feel like they wouldn't let me move up the ranks too much. Maybe people still don't believe in me.
I mean, I could definitely see you being Chief Petty Officer.
Chief
You know.
petty officer.
Yeah, like O'Brien in Next Generation.
So, would Chief Petty Officer be first, second, or third
Yeah,
class?
first class.
Okay, then I'll do that.
Okay, cool. And yeah, you're good to go.
Oh, yay.
All right, so Matthew, are you? I think you're good. Oh yeah, you get 2 more points to spend, right?
I did that.
Oh, you did that. Okay, so let's move on here. Okay, so what's your assignment?
It has pre-selected chief engineer for me.
Of course.
And I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think let's do that. And then it's pre-selected commander for me. Is that too high a rank for this, or?
I mean, I can't think of a chief engineer that had a higher rank than lieutenant commander.
I mean, Scotty is the only answer, but that was a
Yeah,
strange
he was a
situation.
commander.
He was a captain by the end of it. He was the same rank as Kirk, but he never went into command. He always wanted
but that's
to be
like
in
at the tail end of all their careers.
That's true.
Like in the original series, what was his rank in the original series?
I think he was a lieutenant commander in the original series.
I think you should probably go with lieutenant commander.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And yeah.
All right, and then my values are there, and I'll export to PDF.
Export to PDF. All right, Fred.
Yeah, I would like nothing more than to be your ship's counselor. If you'll have me.
So I'm going to pick that, and then rank, I guess, lieutenant, junior grade is probably better than ensign.
Yep.
I'm going to be on the bridge, so I'll go with lieutenant, junior grade, and I think that's it for me. That's all my decisions.
Awesome. Okay. So now, we've already gone longer than I intended to. I'm sorry, Grant, but this should be really quick. So now we are going to create your starship. So everybody, if you go back to the home page on that Modiphius apps, you can go along with me if you click on the Star Trek Adventures tab at the top left of the screen and open in a new tab. That should take you to the Starship creation page. If you can get there. And once you're there, go to Characters and Starships.
Okay. Characters
And
and
click
Starship.
Next Generation. And then go to Starship. And I was going to put you guys in an Intrepid class.
Okay.
Okay,
Great.
so click on that.
Yep.
So now you guys have to decide your mission profile out of these options. So the options are strategic and diplomatic operations, Pathfinder and reconnaissance operations, technical test bed, tactical operations, scientific and survey operations, crisis and emergency response, and multi-role explorer. So this is the basic sort of mission outline that your ship is supposed to undertake. So do you guys have any leanings there?
Anything you're leaning toward?
Yeah. So I'm thinking that if you guys are on the frontier, you guys are going to be adventuring in the Shackleton Expanse, which is unknown space. Yeah. So, and the Intrepid is a brand new frame in 2371. I think you're like the fourth ship of your type in service.
Wow.
So it would probably make sense, given your ship type and everything, to either do Pathfinder and reconnaissance operations, just sort of like exploring new spaces.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it could be that. Technical test bed, if you're just like stuffed with all the newest technology, then you're testing it out on the frontier. That's an option. Or multi-role explorer.
That's the other
or
one
scientific and
at.
survey operations. So it depends what you guys are leaning towards.
I feel like
that
scientific and
multi-role.
survey doesn't fit our crew very well.
Not at all. You don't even have a science officer.
I think Pathfinder and reconnaissance does though.
Yeah,
Or
cool.
multi-role.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
So yeah, this will determine the bonuses that your ship will give you. So
Improved warp drive for the Pathfinder reconnaissance operations.
yeah,
Hey, that makes sense with your character.
yeah.
I'm in.
It does.
Maybe you
With
improved
engineering.
Maybe I did.
Maybe
What does
you did.
rugged design mean? Do we know?
Yeah, rugged
matter?
design basically means that your ship is easier to repair because it's so sturdily built.
Okay.
Design, redundancy, secondary reactions, improved hull integrity. That's if we get attacked.
Yeah.
It's pretty
And
maneuverable
knowing
too. It looks
Skid,
like.
we probably will.
Anything can happen in space.
I mean, the
yeah,
multi-role explorer sounds true too. It's like secondary reactors, redundant systems, improved power systems. Like either one seems up ARP's alley. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Why don't we go
multi-role
with
is
that
just
then?
choose straight down everything.
Yeah.
The ship's no better or worse at any particular thing. That's
Yeah.
probably the choice we should make to differentiate. Do we
Very
want
well
the
balanced.
standard balance thing, or do we want to go with a ship that's good at some things and not quite as good at others?
Yeah, the Pathfinder has the 3 in con and 1 in medicine. That's the trade-off
Let's see.
for that.
The most important health's going to be taken care of. That's the mental health.
Who needs medicine?
I just realized with the Pathfinder, if we find anybody who needs like help, we have like a 1 in medicine, which means you did. I'm sorry.
That's true. Although, as an
Maybe.
Intrepid class ship, you also have access to the emergency medical hologram.
Oh,
which you were going to get to play, right, Skid?
I would. In that case, yes.
And wouldn't it technically be Robert Picardo because they all look like him at this stage? And
Yeah, it absolutely would be, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that, Skid.
All right. I
the choice is
seals it.
clear.
Yeah.
So you want to do Pathfinder reconnaissance?
Sure.
yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay, and then we will pick a talent for the ship. Okay, so those are options for talents that you saw there. So you can either pick improved reaction control system.
Yes.
It's more maneuverable, basically. Whenever a task to move or maneuver the ship would increase in difficulty because of obstacles or hazards, reduce the difficulty by 1 to a minimum of the normal difficulty. So you can pick that, or you can pick that rugged design. Designed with the frontier in mind, it has a durable construction and easy access to critical systems that allow repairs to be made easily. Reduce the difficulty of all tasks to repair the ship by 1 to a minimum of 1.
So it's like you want to be able to, like, maneuver around some like things that could hit the ship or an enemy ship, or do you want a ship that if it does get hit, we can actually fix it quicker?
Yeah. I mean, I would say if you're min-maxing, you have a pretty good ship's engineer in Matthew's character.
That's
Okay.
true.
You,
Okay.
as of right now, you don't have anyone to pilot the ship.
Let's do maneuvers then.
Yeah.
Improve
Okay,
reaction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Good idea.
Okay, and so for traits, you were just Federation vessel because it's new off the line, and you guys have to pick a name.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Oh boy, that's the hard part. Oh no. Oh gosh. How do they come up with the names in the first place, Eric?
Well, you've got famous science fiction authors. That's one option.
Yep.
You've got cool sounding words like equinox.
Yeah.
Or,
Yes, that's another Intrepid class ship, actually.
There you go. And what you don't see as often is like just weird alien D&D character name.
Ooh.
You know, Kumblabar or something like that. You don't see that kind of thing very often.
If we go the science fiction author route, can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Yes.
Because Eric, you and I have bonded over Lee Brackett.
Oh, I love it.
Oh.
Lee
Which
Brackett
one?
wrote Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Lee
the
Brackett, famous
woman
female
science
sci-fi
fiction
author.
writer in the 1940s and 50s.
Yeah,
That's a great
and
I like
she
it.
was a co-writer on the screenplay for Empire Strikes Back.
She would have been the only writer, but then she died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
She wrote The Long Goodbye. She wrote a bunch of John Wayne movies. She's great.
Wow.
Great writer. It's an option.
Go with it.
Okay.
So it'd be
Alright,
the
let's do it.
USS Bracket.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's a
Love
pretty dope name. I
Yeah.
think.
Spell it in the chat or something. I don't spell it wrong. Usually you say
B-R-A-C-K-E
sprocket.
Bracket. B-R-A-C-K-E-T-T.
Got
There you go.
Oh
Thank you,
man.
loves.
Okay.
Sprocket.
Love it.
All right. I love this. So, and then we got to do a registry number. So it's NCC. Let's see. I actually have a model of the Voyager here.
Look at that.
Yeah. So,
What was the Voyager's registry number?
well, according to this, it was the NCC 74656.
Rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah. So let's call it the NCC 756.
756.
75646. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. So I will send you guys the PDF for your ship.
Yay.
And welcome, everybody. Welcome the crew of the USS Bracket.
Yay!
I'm so excited.
Me too. I'm ready to boldly go.
I'm ready to split my infinitives.
So you guys, and we've gone long, but I just want to set the stage here. So you guys, this is the year 2371. I actually have the star date here somewhere. So this is the this is a difficult time. This is a time of great tension in the Federation. The USS Enterprise, the flagship of the fleet, the Enterprise D, has just been destroyed. Not far from where you've been sent. There is the Dominion has just been discovered in the Delta Quadrant, Omega
Gamma Quadrant.
Gamma Quadrant.
Gamma Quadrant. Yeah.
So, and the first ship of your design, or the second ship of your design, the USS Voyager went missing a couple of months ago, and there's no trace of them. You guys, this is the fourth ship of your design. You were built at the San Francisco shipyards on Earth. And you and your crew were sent out to the Shackleton Expanse, which is notorious for an unusual number of temporal and spatial anomalies, some benign and some extremely dangerous.
Temporal.
There's so many temporal anomalies in this universe.
Temporal anomalies.
You've been searching. Your most recent assignment you've been searching for a missing science vessel, the SS Tesla. It went missing 6 weeks ago while cataloging these anomalies in an unstable region of the Expanse. The Organ system has 2 Class M planets, both with populations protected under General Order 1, the Prime Directive. See? Organ 2 has a primitive civilization equivalent to medieval Earth. The residents call themselves the Slethar and are a violent and warlike culture. The residents of Organ 3, who call themselves Lormians, are quite different, being a mammalian species resembling humanoid lemurs that are noted for a peaceful and communal society. Their technology, they're super cute, I'm thinking. Their technology is equivalent to mid-21st century Earth, just pre-warp tech, but still covered by the Prime Directive. The plasma trail from the SS Tesla leads directly to Organ 3. And that's what we're picking up next time.
Can't wait.
It must be awesome to be a human lemur.
Thank you. We're going to meet some lemurs next time. Thank you so much, Grant, for running the show. Sorry we went long. Thank you guys for making an incredible story, just in character creation. I can't wait to meet these people and see how they work together. We'll see you next week.
Bye.